he also was really drawn to touchy subjects. So it's like a brutal murder. Yeah,
he got pleasure in being dangerous.
Yeah, how many anal rape jokes did we hear? You know, how many?
Including, I must bring it up. The Swedish German.
That became
Andy Richter, the Swedish German.
That became a thing. Yeah, and actually, Conan and I were talking about this yesterday.
I had forgotten about this, and of course, you said that you sometimes see it online. And I'm like, okay, well, let's hear about that because you know me, I'm in the nose cone of the rocket.
Right.
I'm at the top of the pyramid.
Right. Your ivory tower. There's a lot of clouds underneath your window.
I'm up there counting my gold coins. I can't be concerned with what you're doing down in the moat.
No, people. I mean, every weekly, someone will just arbitrarily just call me a Swedish German. And it was
explain what that means.
I know. Well, I mean, I know they're Norm fans because Norm would do, and Norm was also like kind of a traditionalist. So he did the, talk to the talk show host, but then there's this guy over here, this one. Let's make fun of him.
Yeah.
And a lot of his jokes, he was drawn to the things that you're not supposed to say. So a lot of his jokes were about being queer, gay porno, this fellow over here, he enjoys the gay porno. And that became a thing with me. And at one point, he was talking about your ethnicity, you're Irish, I'm Scottish, what are you? And I said, I'm Swedish German. And he, for some reason, was like, really? And I was like, yeah, well, why would I make that up?
I'm Scottish. I'm a Scot. You're Irish.
Yes.
What are you?
Swedish German.
Swedish German? Are you really?
Yeah, really. Why would I lie about that? It's not funny.
It's very odd, 'cause
it's a very strange lie. I put one over on those people. Yeah.
Swedish German. But that then later became a euphemism for gay. Yeah. The old prospector comes to town and wants a prostitute, but no, there's no prostitutes. There's just Andy Richter, the Swedish German.
And I've been in that mine for a hell of a long time, and I'm only flesh and blood. I need a woman. Well, the bartender says, hell, there ain't no women in this town. If you want to do any of that business, all we got is Andy Richter, the Swedish German.
It's outrageous because it's Norm. It's outrageous because it's on a talk show.
And it's you.
And it's me.
Yeah.
But and I think that some people think that I was somehow, and somebody else, a friend of mine pointed out, there's nothing, you can't do anything with that.
Right.
There's nothing to do with that when Norm Macdonald says, this fellow over here, and it would go to hey, Conan, have you met his wife?
But then you did say, at least I had my dignity, and says, you were raped.
Yeah, he goes to rape,
Yeah.
And
my God.
Got to be all secret. Nobody. I say nobody can know about this. Bartender says, well, 4 people know about it. How do you figure that? He says, I'll know about it. He says, you'll know about it. Andy Richter, the Swedish German, will know about it. And the fella that has to hold down Andy will know about it.
At least you left me my dignity.
Yeah.
I like the way that story ended.
Yeah,
that was a nice.
You weren't gay.
Right. No, but that's not beside the point.
You were raped.
No, it's more. It's more that I wasn't prostituting myself.
And I said, but I never was that crazy about that because I would think, I'm sitting there and we're in a studio and we're laughing about it now. And it is the point of that joke is this fella's a queer.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very old-fashioned retrograde joke that we just don't do anymore.
Right.
And some jokes that we don't do anymore, we don't do them anymore because they shouldn't be done.
Right.
And we shouldn't have been doing them in the first place. So I was always thinking about the gay people that work on the Conan O'Brien show. Yeah. How do I look them in the face after being there and hardy-harring about the punchline being that I'm a gay fella? And and we're thinking about the people in my family who are gay. If they're going to watch that, how are they going to think when the real bottom line, what's funny about that is that I was supposedly a homosexual. And that I was, which to me, I always was it's like saying, this fellow over here, he doesn't want anybody to know it, but he's a secret Jew. his kitchen's full of matzahs. You know, it's like you would go like, what are you talking about? You know, what is that? How is that funny?
My kitchen's full of
I know,
matzahs.
but you're not a secret. But you know what I mean? It made me uncomfortable, not because I was afraid that people would think I was gay, because if I was gay, everybody would know that I was gay. It made me uncomfortable because there were people out there in the audience whom I love and care about, who would be left thinking like, what's so terrible about me that I am a joke, that I'm a punchline, you know, that how I am and who I am is a punchline to a joke. But that was when you're the kind of comic that Norm is, and you are going after any uncomfortable subject, and you're like, oh, let me get in there and you know, roam around and really get my elbows.
Right.
You know, it's gonna be ugly sometimes.
Yeah, and
it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Yes.
He also really enjoyed being around other comedians. Like, that's where he seemed to really come alive. I mean, he was a stand-up, but he also really liked being on in a you know, a situation with other comedians. And I've had people say to me, like, did it bother you? Because he, you know, like I said, I would be the butt of the joke sometime. And I would say, like, no, that's him. That's like practically like him showing love to me.
Yeah.
Like, he would not insult me if he thought that I, you know, was somehow inferior.
It's like being insulted by Rickles.
Yeah. It's like he's inviting me to play when he's making fun of me. Will Ferrell is definitely one.
Really happy to see you, Will.
So good to see you. So good to see everyone. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like when my friends are on. Like, I like when Andy Daly's on.
Oh, shit, mother...
Will Arnett's a lot of fun.
You did a lot to promote Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, including you retweeted a picture of Miley Cyrus's underwear, wearing her underwear.
Well,
I think we have the photo here.
Yeah, she tweeted that out, and I figured, you know, if you retweet a person's crotch, maybe it'll go viral.
Right. So just because...
But like in historical terms on the Conan show, Scott Thompson was a wonderful guest. He used to come on all the Older's great. She hasn't been on in ages, though. Everybody, it's my little sister, Stacy.
So cute.
Yeah.
Hi there, Stacy. It's really great to see you again.
Thanks a lot, Conan. It's awesome to see you again.
Wait, what? What was wait?
This has been Wait What?
He also was really drawn to touchy subjects. So it's like a brutal murder. Yeah.
He got pleasure in being dangerous.
Yeah. How many anal rape jokes did we hear? You know, how many,
including, I must bring it up, the Swedish German.
That became
Andy Richter, the Swedish German. That
became a thing. Yeah, and actually, Conan and I were talking about this yesterday.
I had forgotten about this, and of course, you said that you sometimes see it online. And I'm like, okay, well, let's hear about that because you know me, I'm in the nose cone of the rocket.
Right.
I'm at the top of the pyramid.
Right. Your ivory tower. There's a lot of clouds underneath your window.
I'm up there counting my gold coins. I can't be concerned with what you're doing down in the moat.
No, people. I mean, every weekly, someone will just arbitrarily just call me a Swedish German. And it was
explain what that means.
I know. Well, I mean, I know they're Norm fans because Norm would do, and Norm was also like kind of a traditionalist. So he did the, talk to the talk show host, but then there's this guy over here, this one. Let's make fun of him.
Yeah.
And a lot of his jokes, like I say, he was drawn to the things that you're not supposed to say. So a lot of his jokes were about being queer, gay porno. This fellow over here, he enjoys the gay porno. And that became a thing with me. And at one point, he was talking about your ethnicity, you're Irish, I'm Scottish, what are you? And I said, I'm Swedish German. And he, for some reason, was like, really? And I was like, yeah, well, why would I make that up?
I'm Scottish. I'm a Scot. You're Irish.
Yes.
What are you?
Swedish German.
Swedish German. Are you really?
Yeah, really. Why would I lie about that? It's not funny.
It's very odd, 'cause
It's a very strange lie. I put one over on those people. Yeah.
Swedish German.
But that then later became a euphemism for gay. You know, the old prospector comes to town and wants a prostitute, but no, there's no prostitutes. There's just Andy Richter, the Swedish German.
And I've been in that mine for a hell of a long time, and I'm only flesh and blood. I need a woman. Well, the bartender says, hell, there ain't no women in this town. If you want to do any of that business, all we got is Andy Richter, the Swedish German.
It's outrageous because it's Norm. It's outrageous because it's on a talk show.
And it's you.
And it's me.
Yeah.
But and I think that some people think that I was somehow, and somebody else, a friend of mine pointed out, there's nothing, you can't do anything with that.
Right.
There's nothing to do with that when Norm Macdonald says, this fellow over here, when it would go to hey, Conan, have you met his wife?
But then you did say, at least I had my dignity, and says, you were raped.
Yeah, he goes to rape,
Yeah.
And
my God.
Got to be all secret. Nobody. I say nobody can know about this. Bartender says, well, 4 people know about it. How do you figure that? He says, I'll know about it. He says, you'll know about it. Andy Richter, the Swedish German, will know about it. And the fella that has to hold down Andy will know about it.
At least you left me my dignity.
Yeah.
I like the way that story ended.
Yeah,
That was a nice.
you weren't gay.
Right. Yeah. No, but that's not beside the point.
You were raped.
No, it's more. It's more that I wasn't prostituting myself.
And I said, but I never was that crazy about that because I would think, I'm sitting there and we're in a studio and we're laughing about it now. And it is the point of that joke is this fella's a queer.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very old-fashioned retrograde joke that we just don't do anymore.
Right.
And some jokes that we don't do anymore, we don't do them anymore because they shouldn't be done.
Right.
And we shouldn't have been doing them in the first place. So I was always thinking about the gay people that work on the Conan O'Brien show. Yeah. How do I look them in the face after being there and hardy-harring about the punchline being that I'm a gay fella? And and we're thinking about the people in my family who are gay. If they're going to watch that, how are they going to think when the real bottom line, what's funny about that is that I was supposedly a homosexual. And that I was, which to me, I always was it's like saying, this fellow over here, he doesn't want anybody to know it, but he's a secret Jew. His kitchen's full of matzahs. It's you would go what are you talking about? What is that? How is that funny?
My kitchen's full of
I know,
matzahs.
but you're not a secret. But you know what I mean? It made me uncomfortable, not because I was afraid that people would think I was gay, because if I was gay, everybody would know that I was gay. It made me uncomfortable because there were people out there in the audience whom I love and care about who would be left thinking what's so terrible about me that I am a joke, that I'm a punchline, that how I am and who I am is a punchline to a joke. But that was when you're the kind of comic that Norm is, and you are going after any uncomfortable subject, and you're let me get in there and roam around and really get my elbows.
Right.
It's gonna be ugly sometimes.
Yeah, and
it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Yes.
He also really enjoyed being around other comedians. Like that's where he seemed to really come alive. I mean, he was a stand-up, but he also really liked being on in a a situation with other comedians. And I've had people say to me, like, did it bother you? Because like I said, I would be the butt of the joke sometime. And I would say, like, no, that's him. That's like practically like him showing love to me. Yeah. Like he would not insult me if he thought that I, was somehow inferior.
It's like being insulted by Rickles.
Yeah. It's like he's inviting me to play when he's making fun of.
Hey, I'm thankful that this year the police finally solved the baffling murder of Bob Hope.
Nathaniel Riches on Instagram wants to know, who's your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian of all time is Bob Hope. I saw Bob Hope live and talked to him. When I was a child. And I watched him, a giant, he's such a big star, Bob Hope. So I was at the Canadian National Exhibition, which holds 30,000 people or something like that. And Bob Hope is just astonishingly funny. Yeah. And you can't quote a Bob Hope joke. Yeah. Because his jokes all were bad. Yeah. But he was so fantastic.
It's worse than horrible because a zombie has no will of his own. You see them sometimes walking around blindly with dead eyes, following orders, not knowing what they do, not caring. You mean like Democrats?
And when I saw him, he moved so subtly. He hardly moved on stage, but after a joke, he'd shift his weight slightly. And I thought later, he's such a physical comic in movies. You know what I mean? He can dance and move. Yes. But he knew in stand-up to just do this very subtle.
But this is a beautiful audience. It's obvious that many of the ladies spent the afternoon with their hairdresser. Some had their hair done, and I just...
But anyways, he's my favorite stand-up. Everybody says Pryor and Carlin, but Bob Hope is my favorite stand-up of all time.
Oh, really?
Between the jokes that, Carson would do a saver or something, but Bob Hope would do a great thing where he'd do the joke, stare in the camera, and there'd be fear in his eyes as if he'd been found out or something. I remember as a child, like really always wanting, and of course it was so great when you just walk on Carson. Yeah, and he's doing a special next door, This is my thing. I'm going to go on talk shows from now on, just talk like Bob Hope from the 70s. So you asked me a question.
So Norm, I heard you were working on a new show. What's the process?
Yeah, working
like?
on a special just across the hall, and it's wild. We got a lot. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We got Kawhi Leonard, and he's just doing wonderful things up there. And who else will be there? Are you familiar with Cagney and Lacey?
I'm not.
Well, we're gonna have them both. And who else? Robert Stack will be there. And Susan Sarandon, a wonderful gal. Don't care much for her politics. She's a bit of a commie. But Janine Garofalo will be there. All kinds of just wonderful folk. And we're doing that across the hall. Anyways, I got to go. And then he'd leave. And then the other guy would be because he'd always interrupt a guy right in the middle of the story. That's what Bob Hope was famous for. Walter Matthau would go, and then I get da 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 da, and then Bob Hope walks out. Walter Matthau has to trundle over to the couch. Anyway, he picked great comics. Then I see the American one. He said Bob Hope. That's what Steve Carell said. Right. I like Bob Hope. I'm like, yeah. Sure. Why would you like Bob Hope? It's so much more interesting that a guy with no sense of humor loves good comedy. Right. Because that's what I heard in high school all the time. People would just play Monty Python all the time, just recite it, and just witless idiots.
Although I would contend that Bob Hope was a good comedian.
Well, he's my favorite comic, but most people...
I liked his film persona, I think, more than his stand-up persona.
People forget how great a physical comic.
Well, and also you can clearly see how much Woody Allen stole from him in terms of the persona, the nervousness, the kind of the would-be womanizer who's kind of being shot down, in which I tried to steal shamelessly as well.
He just stole it, and then he thought, well, if I say I stole it, that's all right.
Right, yeah.
On Barbara Walters was interviewing. He's not a guy that, you know, has his heart on his sleeve. You know what I mean? She said, I read that when you were young, you were, you know, a two-story flat, and you know, you were 10 children, 3 of them died, and you had to go play the old hall, you know, just to survive. You know, and he said, isn't that wild? And then she said, you've been married 50 years. Like, how do you and Dolores keep the marriage going? He goes, I play golf. We have the dogs. But I like that he was only about comedy.
Does President Clinton have a bent penis? Well, according to a doctor who examined him last week, the president's genitals are, quote, completely 100% normal. It should be noted, however, that the doctor who examined him also has a bent penis. I may color his findings a little. As his last stop on the trip, the president met in Buenos Aires Thursday with Argentinian President Carlos Menem. During the meeting, Clinton asked Menem to continue with economic reform and protect democratic freedoms. Menem, in turn, asked Clinton to show him his bent penis. Tomorrow, Chinese President Jiang Zemin begins a week-long visit that could define U.S. relations with China for years to come. President Clinton plans to ask Jiang for several things, including human rights reform, trade expansion, and a Chinese herb said to have the power to straighten a bent penis. This week, an angry President Clinton demanded that Congress stop dragging its feet on something he has long championed, a medical Bill of Rights for U.S. citizens. In all, there are 10 items in the President's Bill of Rights, running from number 1, a rich, satisfying sex life is the foundation of good health, to number 10, a straight penis is not a privilege, it is a right.
And come to think of it, I got addicted to you. Oh, no, no, no. And come to think of it, I need somebody like you. Oh, no, no, no. I need someone like you.
To know one thing before you go today. I know there are other questions, but you say that you there were distinguishing characteristics on the president's private parts. For America, please tell us what that is. We've got to know.
Well, it was like that.
Oh, God.
It was.
Return. Okay, that was it. Thank you. Well,
we're back with our remaining moments on Larry King Live. We bring 2 of the great talents, both formerly of Saturday Night Live, with us. David Spade is in Los Angeles. Norm Macdonald is here in New York. And now,
hello, Norm.
Say hello to him.
Hi, David. David and I apparently are having some kind of feud. He left this message on my machine.
So what is this?
What is
David?
I
Did
don't
you not
know.
want to appear with him tonight?
Norm,
Come on, David. Tell us.
I wouldn't pay $300 to have my hair blow dry to be treated like this.
No, your hair is great. I was just...
Do you feel, David, that the star spotlight has been taken away by you, by McDonald tonight?
No, I don't mind. It should be.
Oh,
Norm's my buddy. Norm's one of the best guys out there. I've been watching this whole show, laughing my head off. I don't think Larry knows that Norm's a little kooky. And he's got some funny stuff to say.
What do you make of that? He's accusing you of not having all the marbles.
Good Lord.
Are you shocked?
Not having all the marbles? I'll tell you something about marbles. I haven't seen a kid play marbles for years.
China Syndrome is a great rental.
He's doing my column now. Okay.
Of all the colors, blue is my favorite.
Stop that.
Okay. Where is John Stamos?
When do you 2 go to work together? Why don't you do a movie together?
We'd love to. We've been trying to for a long time, right, Dave?
Yeah. Norm's one of the few super funny guys out there that I'm trying to keep up with. He's a blast, and whatever show gets him next will be in great shape.
Well, David, do you think he's going to do a weekend update on the new Howard Stern show?
It seemed like that's what you told him. So.
It seems like that to me. I don't know why he's in some sort of denial over this.
Norm's a little tricky, but he's in demand, so I think they'll have him if he wants to do it.
Maybe Meet the Press will ask you to do it, and he'll come back then.
Meet the Press would be great. Tim Russert, right?
Yeah, you and Tim.
Me and Tim would be a great...
load of laughs.
Oh, you guys lost me.
He doesn't know Tim Russert.
What do you think about Tim Russert?
He only knows supermodels.
I get blank stares.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, Larry, you live next to me in Beverly Hills now. You knew Clampett. You're right next to me.
Clampett.
I just heard. You're going to come by
Don't give the address.
We're going to I know where you are. You're by Nate and Al's. My house has a water wiggle out front, and you're going to have to come by and hang out with me.
What is that? What's a water wiggle? That's his thing for a supermodel.
What an idiot. You're going to be part of Neighborhood Watch with me, and you're going to hold up your end. I don't care if you're out of town a lot.
Where do you live, Norm? I live in New York City. Here, the Gotham. Yeah, the Big Apple. But I've seen you in L.A.
Yeah,
I saw you with Chris Farley in New York. Yeah, I saw you in Los Angeles, me and Chris Farley.
Yeah, his story doesn't check out, does it, Larry?
No, so you
It's got some holes in it.
I live in Los Angeles. Good observation, Spade. I'm bi-coastal.
Get it out, Norm.
Bi-coastal, yeah.
Bisexual.
No, what are you doing,
No, I'm kidding. I'm
We've had
kidding.
lots of admissions here tonight. Do you ever miss Saturday Night Live? Both the same question for both of you. David.
I miss hanging out with Norm and some other people there, but I don't miss how hard it was. It was a good 6-year run for me. It was fun.
But you don't miss doing the show?
I miss it in pieces. I'd like to host it, but right now, to do it every week, I'm too old now.
Norm? I've only been gone like 1 week. But you, unlike David, you were fired. Yeah. So distance is quicker to have. Do you miss it? All right, did you miss it last Saturday night? Did you watch it? You're stumbling. I tell you something. I don't. Where I live, I don't get Saturday Night Live.
You know what, Larry? They showed.
I watch Saturday Night Live, but I don't get it.
Norm was at home with.
Stop stepping on the joke.
I don't know. I can't.
Me and Larry are doing a little vaudeville here.
I'm 2 minutes behind you on a tape delay.
David, what were you going to say?
I just heard the Siamese twins thing. No, I was saying that Norm sits home and there's just montage music and you hear the road is long, and he's watching 6 TVs in his house.
I used to, when I did the show, I'd always take off right after updates so I could watch the rest of the show at home. You know. Really? Yeah, because, you know, they want you to stay till the end so you can wave, because everybody waves. You're not a waver. Well, it's odd because sometimes the show sucks, and then at the end of the show, you're out waving like a jackass.
But Norm, sometimes at the first 3 years I was never on and I had to count that as a sketch.
David, thanks very much. Norm, thanks very much. Thanks, Larry. I want to thank Larry King for hosting this earlier. Yeah, Larry, very good. Great. Thanks for joining us. See you Monday night. Good night.
No, just thinking, you know, because they had that Viagra thing out. Yeah. And the other day, you know, Bob Dole came right out and said he was one of the first. Yeah. And you don't want to hear about Bob Dole's cock, you know. I mean, President Clinton's cock, Bob Dole's cock. What the hell? But mostly, an old man like that, an old man. You don't want him to have a super hard cock. You know what I mean? Why? Why? Because an old man, you want him to be got a pipe going, a newspaper, the dog at his feet there.
Well, that in some corners is considered pipe.
Oh. But now they're going to have to create some goddamn pill that makes women aroused at the sight of a fucking 70-year-old dude with a super hard cock. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. This Viagra. It's insane. And you know what it's for? Impotent people. All right, it's for impotent guys. So get this. I read this. The pill can make your cock hard for 4 hours. Right. So now, who has the 4-hour hard cock? The impotent guy. The rest of us are fucked. Me and you got our regular cocks. Meanwhile, fucking Spade is, you know...
Oh, man. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it coming.
Dude, I know you didn't. He brought it all around and then a vicious rip kick into his best friend's gut.
Once there's too much cock talk, I try to just zone out for a minute until it goes back the other way.
If there's too much cock talk, this guy has fevered nightmares all night. Dreams, I mean, like sweaty, fevered dreams from the cock talk that's been all over his head. Cock.
Why bury me twice? He's killing me.
No, he's a good man.
That erased it. All right.
No, he's a good man.
Who cares?
After all that, that's the whiteout he puts on.
Yeah, I know, it's awesome.
After he talks about you doing chin-ups on cock for 18 minutes. No, he's a good guy.
If you're gay, he's a completely straight guy. He gets a lot of ladies. You know that about him with the ladies.
Don't say ladies.
Women, girls.
Okay, thank you. Ladies, what are we, fucking on an FM station here?
He's Don Cornelius.
But these gay guys, man, I was reading, you know about the...
These gay guys.
I haven't even said hi yet. All right. Tell me what it is with these gay guys.
I know, I'm already...
I just read this thing about the George
You're reading
Michael.
a lot, aren't you?
Yeah, I got a little time off. Now I read the newspaper. And this really strikes me about the gay community. I don't know if they're a community, but
called West Hollywood.
Yeah, they're gay, and it's, you know, George Michaels. He hangs around the bathroom. He has sex with multiple guys. This is
no way. You got to get it right. Hangs around the bathroom, and it was described as a lewd behavior, but I don't remember sex with numerous guys.
Well,
is that what you took away from it?
What does he do?
What were you, in the next stall?
I could have been just having a nice bathroom regular thing.
I don't know what lewd behavior is, but I don't know that he was in there with numerous guys. But anyway, go ahead. We get the gist of it.
This is definitely a gay thing, because this is a pop superstar. You know what I mean? You're not going to walk into a bathroom and all of a sudden Farrah Fawcett's like, ah, you know? You're not going to...
What? I love it.
What I'm saying is, why would a famous
what was she doing? Some sort of cervical belt sander thing, or what was that? Oh, Christ, what are you, Linda Blair?
They do. That's what they do. Right?
That's what ladies that I know do.
Good to know that primetime exposure is paying dividends there.
But I think that's what it is. It's that the gay, that's why they have separate bathrooms. Let's face it. If they had women and, women, as you call them, I call them ladies. If you had them in the same bathroom,
like Ally McBeal.
Like you go in the bathroom to do your business, see a man about a dog there, and you're in the bathroom. You're in the bathroom. All of a sudden, a beautiful lady comes out. Oh, here's my vagina and breasts. You're going to be hanging out at that bathroom a lot. So I don't blame anybody for anything.
Can you believe Olmeyer didn't get him?
We're all the same, man.
Have you ever met Olmeyer since then?
Don Olmeyer I met once, after he fired me.
Yeah.
Then I went and visited him in his office. Which it wasn't an office I've never seen. It was like a wet bar and a bunch of weird sports trophies. He's a big sports guy,
Yeah.
So he explained it to me what happened, but he did it all with sports stuff, like you said, man, you see, you're the number 3 hitter, but now you're going to be number 8. And then later on, Ken Griffey will show up. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. And then I said, well, Christ, man, what the hell am I supposed to do? And he goes, I don't know, just walk it off, And...
I'll put it in sports terms why you got fired. You were fucking with OJ too much. That's exactly why you were fired, man.
Well, I don't know.
That's his buddy.
Yeah, it's his buddy.
Yeah, well, that's why you got canned.
OJ's a good guy. I mean, he's not...
Well, we got to end on that, Normie, but there's what they'll remember you by. OJ's a good guy.
Man,
Thanks for coming on. Norm Macdonald and David Spade. Stick around.
On your last show, I came out as a deep...
Take me on a journey. Take me far away from this life. I'd leave it in a hurry. Let's run away before morning light. You got me right.
Like some of your friends, seriously, like those guys who came out of Saturday Night Live, like Sandler, you, Chris Rock. There's a lot of guys who sort of all of a sudden are like real big players.
Yeah, Norm got his own TV show.
Norm's doing well. What?
What?
Do you hang out with Norm, or is it impossible?
It's pretty impossible because he's crazy.
He is.
In L.A., I call him and he goes, I go, what happened last week? I called you to go on. You called me? And I go, yeah. On my phone? I go, yeah. And he goes,
Oh, yeah, I got that. I go, you didn't call me back? No.
And he's serious.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And yeah, I know. Like, I have him on the show.
I love him, though. He's the funniest guy around. I think you need to be kind of crazy to be really funny.
He is very funny. I love him, too. And he has a gambling problem, you know.
Yeah.
He was telling us how
secret.
He was all excited that he had $80,000. He won $80,000 in Vegas, but he had lost like $100,000 on basketball.
Right. And that's on nickel slots. That's how serious he is.
Did you always know he had a gambling problem?
Mm-hmm.
You did. When did you know that? At Saturday Night Live?
I first knew he had a pee in a bottle problem.
Right.
Remember that? You always talk about
Yeah, it's
that.
great.
And then I
Does
knew...
he still save his urine? Do you know?
I don't know. He used to put it in Ziploc baggies, sign it, and send it to fans.
Is that true?
No.
Oh.
But he did. He would take... After Saturday Night Live, they give you a car, a limousine, if you want to go to the party, and he would take it to Atlantic City.
Really?
He's a hard ass. He's hardcore, dude. I
know he'll even get into fist fights.
And then he'll stay at a table for hours and hours.
What do you think of that?
I feel lucky.
And then you don't even know if he's married or single. It's never really clear.
I don't know, but I know girls like him. He's when you're that something's that wrong, they pick up on it and like it.
They like the tragedy of that.
Fixer-upper, yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna make him a regular guy.
Right, but it never worked.
Because David always wore like cool jackets to get girls or whatever.
Did it work? Behind the scenes of that.
Yeah, David gets girls like crazy.
Heather Locklear.
Yeah, like insanely
Name one.
beautiful
It's
girls.
because funny guys are attractive. Yeah. Funny's hot.
You've done a lot of
Yeah.
impressions. Funny.
Most
Look at him.
awkward
He's like,
come
really?
on I've ever heard of my life.
All I can say for sure is this, that it works this way with women. If there's one dude who beds a Kardashian and a Paris Hilton, he'll then get to, and a Lindsay Lohan, he'll get to mow through other Hollywood hot chicks.
Like David Spade is that guy.
Yeah, David Spade is that guy.
And I would say he's more, because Warren Beatty was always the gold standard, but Spade doesn't have the looks of Warren Beatty.
He's the aw shucks rapist.
Rapist?
Well, I don't know why you brought up rapist.
My Lord.
No, what
God.
I'm saying is Spade has quietly mowed through the entire bevy of blondes in this town, but he does it in a sort of unassuming way.
Yeah, Spade is an interesting character because he's outside of Hollywood. He makes fun of it, and yet he's deeply inside of Hollywood.
Balls deep, a lot.
Yeah,
many would argue.
No, but he'll be on red carpets, and I went out with him one time. He's like, "Let's go to a bar." We go to a fucking bar, and then people let us in, which is horrible. Like past every
Right.
You go, let those guys in. Spade.
Yeah, there goes Spade and his bodyguards. His haggard bodyguard.
He's haggard, is right. So
you and David Spade
that you like it.
are walking into a bar.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was saying that?
Yeah.
So we go into the bar, so it's packed with people, and I don't like a lot of people now. And then you get a little fucking plastic drink, and you drink it, and then Spade goes, "Let's get out of here." And I'm like, what? And I don't even want to be there, and you're an inch from somebody's face. And so then we go to another bar. He does the exact same thing.
Right.
Let's get out of here. So he just goes places and exits. But
I think there's a power. I think there's a certain power in leaving.
Yeah, I guess there is.
Yeah.
But with women, he plays the long game. Like he's always texting them. He doesn't bed them the night he meets them.
Mm-mm.
Like a year later.
Right.
But he's got so many on
He
his...
fucks them in the bathroom. Yeah, but not on a bed. Never on a bed.
Wait, no.
I hear what you're saying. I'm reading between the lines.
I can't talk about Dave. Now it's going to sound like I'm saying that about David.
No. What he does is he quietly, here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm saying. If you had a list of the famous coxmen of the town with the Warren Beattys of the world and the Wilt Chamberlains and stuff like that, somewhere in the 13th spot would be David Spade.
Absolutely.
And everyone would go, how do you get on this list? A cute little blonde guy?
I'd
What
put
are you
him
talking about?
way farther up than that. Way farther up. I'd put him maybe number one.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
In terms of sheer numbers.
Quietly goes about his business.
Yes, he does. And
until we start talking about it.
I know, we shouldn't. But he's very self-deprecating about it. But he also, he knows everything that a young girl knows. Like that beautiful 20-year-old. He can talk to them about keeping up with the Kardashians and whatever the hell.
Right.
And then, if I try to talk to a young girl, I go, "You ever watch Matlock, it wouldn't work. But he has the same exact interest that they do.
Yeah.
So it really works,
We're talking to Courtney Thorne-Smith, who recently came into the news because of her 1997 appearance on Conan alongside the late, great Norm Macdonald. People resurfaced that clip and the way that everything went off the rails, and it went viral.
Again,
yes.
Yes, it's always been a popular, it's just a classic Norm Macdonald clip. He's so funny.
It is, and it builds really perfectly. It's like a comedy masterclass. But so how did that feel? I mean, you said you just watched it again this morning. How did it feel watching it?
It was so much fun to watch it. I remembered it as being great fun. And I remembered, normally after a talk show appearance, it's kind of like, was it okay? I don't know. It was fine. You know what I mean? But I remember just having so much fun because I'd just been out there laughing.
Right.
And then people would say, was that okay for you? Was that okay? And I thought, to me, watching it, I thought I just looked like someone who was having a wonderful time. He was making me laugh so hard. Conan
you were
was
perfect.
lovely.
Yeah.
Well, I authentically was having a great time. I mean, so I thought, so interesting that people say, and Conan, of course, is like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, did you not see me? I was laughing so hard. I was crying. I couldn't even breathe. I just thought and I watched it afterwards. And also I've seen him over the years. I'll run into him and they'll check him because maybe a show had just been on. But I watched it and I thought, I was there with Andy and Norm and Conan. And I thought, what a heavenly place to sit. Like, if someone said you get to have dinner with those three guys, we'd say, are you kidding? And you would expect to just sit there and laugh. You wouldn't expect to have deep conversations. You wouldn't expect to get a word in edgewise, but it would be delightful to just sit and laugh. And that's how it felt for me.
And that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Exactly
well, I think that's what people are responding to is you weren't able to get a word in. It was just Norm was a steamroller and he was,
The second there was a pause, I think after a while, both it seemed like you and Conan were kind of like, he's coming back in 3.2 seconds and go. And he just kept interrupting. Had you met him prior to that taping that night?
I didn't think so.
Right. I almost think, in a way, it was like, I almost felt like he was trying to flirt with you on camera by, is that a crazy thought? Just that he was... I think he was trying to impress
like
you.
it was his mating ritual.
Well, I hadn't remembered until I watched it again. They said in the beginning they had a crush on me from the Tom Snyder show, which is also hilarious. So it started off on this lovely note. I mean, you can't, it's not going to get much better than that.
He suckered you in with that, and then it was like...
I don't mind being teased. That's how my family communicates.
Right.
That's how my a group of girlfriends I've been friends with for 30 years. To me, like a generous, loving tease. Now, if he was saying something mean about me, it would have felt differently, but he wasn't.
No, not at all.
It was just funny and light.
Well, you were a guest on Late Night 6 times. So this was somewhere in the middle there, which made me happy, too, because I was like, okay, at least you had some other normal appearances on the show as well.
Where you got to talk.
Where you were allowed to talk. Yes.
Be interviewed.
It wouldn't have bothered me, though, because... like I said, talk shows. It's this very strange thing where you have to talk to a pre-interviewer and you have these set stories and the host sets you up. And Conan's so good at this because even though it's set up, you still feel like you're having a conversation. When Norm started going, it just felt like a relief to me. It was like, oh, great. Especially when we were talking about chairman of the board because, that was not, say, a project of great pride for me. And I had to promote it. And I think I was there to promote it. But Conan started with Melrose Place because he probably thought that was more interesting and then went into chairman of the board. And I was so happy when Norm took it and ran with it because I didn't know what to say. Like, it's one of those things, it read as funny. I had high hopes for it. I did it. The experience wasn't great. And I thought, this is not going to be what I'd hoped. Like, you thought, you never know, this could be amazing.
I'm sure that happens a lot. Where it's just, there's so many levels at which things can go wrong. And, even in editing.
Yes. And look, granted, you're doing Carrot Top's first movie. You might say, you might have had an idea. But, you also don't know. Like, Courtney Cox did The Pet Detective. And, that was with a relatively unknown Jim Carrey. And that turned out amazingly. So I thought, you never know. But I should have thought, that probably doesn't happen twice in a row.
In the same year. Probably something you finished filming like a year earlier, so you probably were like, oh my God, I did that movie. I've got to talk about it now. I forgot I did it.
Yes, I think I kind of hoped it would kind of fade away. And then they said, you have this in your contract. You have to go promote it. So I went on Conan, who's a very safe place for me. And like I said, he was my favorite host. I felt the most comfortable there.
And it was 1 a.m, so there was no pressure.
It was 1 a.m. Well, the whole show felt, you know him. He's so lovely as a person and he's so irreverent. And I thought, well, I can just go in here and have a nice time at least. And then I'll be done. I'll do my duty. And then, Norm started, and it was just a gift. It was just great. You do it. You do it. Rock on. And I got to just sit there and laugh. I was beside myself. I was so happy.
That's great.
And he did really get word out on the movie.
I know. I was going to say, it was probably the best promotion that the movie got.
Well, it wasn't really. It wasn't great promotion, but, the movie wasn't going to sink or swim based on promotion or not. It was just, it was going to sink is the truth of what was going to happen. And but I got to have a really fun talk show appearance. And it happened once before. I did the Tonight Show, and I was talking about my sister's wedding, and I did a bit about my dad telling a joke as we were walking down the aisle, and Don Rickles was there. And Don Rickles started riffing on my dad being insane, and why was he at the wedding? Shouldn't he have been in a home? And he just went off on my dad, and people said, was your dad upset? I was like, was my dad upset? It was a highlight of his life. He never stopped talking about it. Don Rickles teased him. He was beside himself. So we both got to be teased by comedians we really admire.
That's great.
So were you already a fan of Norm's, or were you aware of Norm at all?
I was a fan. I'm a comedy nerd. I always have been. So I was a big fan going in. So it was fun to just be there and sit next to him. And thrilled to have him take over my interview.
Get the Norm treatment.
Yeah.
That was the tail end of him hosting Weekend Update, because I think he left the show SNL later that year. So it timed out nicely. And he was riding that wave of, being the Weekend Update host, which was
where he was brilliant, obviously.
Great. So a lot of times I think he'd be like a last minute booking sometimes, because he'd be in the building. And it's just like that. Conan was mentioning this, that if someone dropped out or something, you can get Norm down, which is like usually a step up sometimes, wow, you have Norm coming in. And a lot of times Conan had no idea what he was going to say or do, which made it all exciting.
And he could trust him, right? He knew it was going to be funny. He knew it was going to be interesting. Well, also, don't you think, I feel like he works on a different time frame than the rest of us.
Yes.
Right? Like, that's one of the great things. His timing is so funny. And when you said, in the interview with me and Conan and him, he was like, there'd be a pause, and then there'd be like, he would come in at just the end of the pause. Like, his timing was so extraordinary that you never knew when you were talking to him when the break was going to be, when the punchline was going to be, and you don't care. You just kind of go. And he did, I saw him on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah.
Right.
I felt the same way. I thought, he's just having a lovely time. He's just in the moment, in his own world, his own time, having a wonderful time. He doesn't seem nervous. He doesn't seem like he has to perform.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a really good point. He'd take over and change the timing of whatever was going on and kind of turn it in, you're right, to Norm time.
Norm time.
Yes.
And you were literally kind of had to just be in his thrall and go along for the ride. And he would always just, stick the landing. It was always great.
Because he was so interesting. Like, it wasn't, I didn't feel like I was fighting for stage time. It was like he was talking and everything stopped and we all just stopped and looked at him until he was done, because it was the most interesting thing in the room.
Yeah.
Right? Luckily I didn't think, he's taking my time, I need to compete. It didn't even occur to me. I just thought, oh my God, Norm Macdonald is talking.
Right.
This is amazing.
And I don't remember any other example on late night where he would just kind of take over like that during someone else's interview. It was just...
Yeah, I wonder if he felt bad after that.
I don't think so. I think but like as I was saying, when they saw the shot, it had all of us in it. Andy, Norm, me, and Conan. So it was like we're all there together, almost like we were a panel, and we were all there together.
Well, and you can really see that Conan doesn't know what's coming. I mean, and I know Conan loves that too, when things get derailed, and he's like, all right, we're all we're throwing the note cards out, and now we're just following this new thread. But yeah, you can really see it, the joy that he's like, what's about to come out, and how am I going to react to that?
Well, and I think the reason that chairman of the board final joke is so memorable is because Conan tees it up. Like, you know, he goes, what's the name of the movie? And you're like, chairman of the board. And then he just turns around and goes, do something with that, you freak. Like,
what's the movie going to be called?
Well,
Really?
I know what it's going to be called.
Yeah, what's that?
If it's got Carrot Top in it, you know what a good name for it would be?
What's that, Norm?
Box Office Poison.
She's in it.
What about my career?
Courtney Thorne-Smith, the girl sitting to your left, is in the movie.
I'm going to go see it for Courtney.
There's this movie coming out.
Yes.
Title undetermined at this point.
Chairman of the board.
Oh, all right. Do something with that, you freak.
I bet the board is spelled B-O-R-E-D. We're back. That was Andy Digley. You just saw dancing with Sharna Burgess. That was your dancing partner.
Yes, she's new.
She is?
New to the. She was in the troupe. She's new to Dancing with Stars.
Yeah.
Like
well,
me.
you were the last star on that show. I don't know the rest of the people. It seems. You know what I mean? This was.
I know what you mean, but
yeah. Not just now. I watched you on the show every week because I had actually had a bet.
You did?
Yeah, I had bet that you would win. I had bet that you would win.
True. You did?
Yeah,
you would have won a lot of money if you put money on it.
Were you a long shot?
I was the dark horse, I think it's called, in Vegas.
You were?
Oh, yeah.
But I said, well, he's a physical comic. He'll definitely be able to dance, and he's in very good shape.
Yeah. The minute you put money on it, that was the second I knew Andy doesn't have a chance.
No, I didn't bet in Vegas.
This guy's never won it.
When you're with the girl, it must be very hard not to be physically attracted to her during the training sessions. How's that go?
Well, first of all, she's the hottest one.
Yeah, she's incredibly
the hottest one in the troupe. Or
Is she single?
In the company. She's not single. She has a boyfriend.
That's never bothered you.
Never stopped me.
Do you have to have sexual chemistry to dance together in the first place?
I wouldn't be a man with manly parts if I didn't, have feelings. I started getting feelings. I mean, very first time we were put together, she had to keep saying to me, "You feel this part of you, my pelvis, and mine, they have to be touching."
Whoa.
She had to explain it to me. Yeah. Her boyfriend's awesome, and her boyfriend is a famous choreographer.
Yeah.
Named Paul.
So you could, if she wouldn't fuck you, maybe he would.
Try to get them both together. They're both great. And so, because when we first started dancing, I was holding her because our first thing was a foxtrot, and it was in hold and with your frame, and we have to have our knobby parts. I was dancing with her like a 13-year-old at a dance. Like I didn't want to touch my penis to her. It was, you're not supposed to.
Right. Huh. You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to. Put a few drinks in me and there's lawsuits.
I just thought I have a good show. Fucking with the Stars.
Now that I would win.
Who would not watch
right
that?
To the top.
I would watch that.
You good at fucking? You're probably good at fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what show I would like to go on? Eating strawberry shortcake with the Stars. Drinking gravy with the Stars.
Is it hard?
But you remind me of a guy that's good at fucking.
I love it.
Fucking and sucking.
It's like Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
May I say something about that?
Yes.
One of the Dancing with the Stars people is a Beverly Hills housewife.
Yeah.
How is she a star? And then Winona Ryder comes out, Winona Judd.
Yeah.
And she's dancing. I don't mind seeing hefty women dance.
Sure, you
But
love
I
it.
don't want to see it on television.
Where do you want
What
to see
I would
it?
do on that show is I would make sure that on the side they had an Indianapolis pit crew. And during her dance, she would come over and they'd change her underwear and her shoes.
Yeah.
And then she would go back out and finish the dance.
But where do you like to see hefty women dance?
In the circus. That's where I like to see hefty women. Who the hell wants to see hefty women dance?
No, I know.
No, her partner can't believe it.
Yeah, but
wait till he has to lift her up. Good luck on that one, my friend.
But I'm rooting for Andy Dick.
Yeah, I like Andy.
Yeah, you know.
Andy's a good. He's been through a lot of hell.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Can I say one thing now?
He had substance abuse problems.
A lot of them.
Like Adam Egret.
I have had
Is that an intro into Adam's substance abuse problem?
Yeah.
Hard to not drink on this work. No, not here, because nobody drinks.
You think this probably means I'm fucking sucking some of his cock, right? But it's taking Ready Whip and spraying it in my mouth.
See, that's how.
I thought of two things. The first thing I thought of was I might owe Drew Michaels an apology because he made a special with no audience and I hated it. Because I looked at it like a swimming meet with no water or like well, like that's the whole thing. But this was very endearing. It was amazing. This there's no question.
Yeah.
I also forget how poetic he is.
Yeah.
You know, with Norm, I didn't know him that well in the 90s. And then when my dad died, I had to do a movie with Norm. And I tried everything to get out of that movie because I was inconsolable. And I couldn't get out of it. And working with him was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. It was like he was the right guy at the right time. I was inconsolable.
Did he talk to you about your dad a lot? Or what did he do?
Never came up.
Uh-huh.
He just made me laugh.
Yeah, right.
He just, and it was, wistful and musing. And Norm is, you never knew he was setting something up or not. We were just hanging out, and all of a sudden it'd be like this punchline out of nowhere. But it started to become like work was like a church I go to. Like I couldn't wait to get to work and just hang around this guy.
That's sweet.
And I knew he was special.
Yeah.
And I've known people for years and years that didn't make me laugh as much as he did in that 8 or 10 weeks. So he's like a real special person to me. And the way he's funny, I just never seen someone get at it like that. And I feel like he landed the trick.
Yeah,
His timing is like a drummer's. It's like a jazz drummer.
But what would the timing have been with an audience? Still perfect?
I can't tell. He's so nice with it. I feel like it looked like it was supposed to be that. I can't. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. This is like listening to a good book on tape.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah, that's good.
It reminds me of what I liked about him. He's a soothing person to be around.
Yeah, gentle.
There's something about my favorite comedy it's counterintuitive, makes people feel safe, like everything's going to be all right. This guy was, in a weird way, reconciling his mortality hilariously in front of us. And ironically, he's no longer with us. We're sitting in the aftermath of the life of Norm Macdonald, watching like him be incredibly alive.
How would those have registered in front of a live audience, do you think?
Not one of the suckers' mother's tits would kill.
Oh, well, that would have murdered. He had a bunch of things that would have murdered.
Because,
yeah.
When he smiled, I could picture him as a child.
Oh yeah.
Is he was my senior, but he's got a boyish charm. When he laughs at his own jokes.
Oh man, him laughing is amazing.
There's something just joyful about watching it.
Stay safe, folks. I love you. I would drop the mic, but I paid for it.
That was sweet, man.
Holy shit.
Tearjerker ending. Fuck.
Yep.
this is stupid, but on my phone, this guy, you'll laugh at this maybe. A lot of people get these pictures or tattoos, like of me as Joe Dirt. They send you, a lot of people get a lot of tattoos of stuff, like things you say or photos or whatever. Or they send me ones of Farley or whatever. So this guy sends me he's got Norm of all morons on his hand, Norm Macdonald. So I text Norm, I just send it to him. I go, hey, you have fans. And then I put in parentheses, fan. All we know is for sure this one guy. Uh-huh. And then of course, like days later, David, hello, it's me, Norm. How are you? Have you ever texted with Norm?
No, I haven't, no.
Times 1,000. He just goes, he waits days, and then at 3 a.m, hello? I go, Norm, what are you doing? Are you answering me from 4 days ago? Is that what you're doing? Dave, it's Norm. Do you like money? Yes, Norm, I like money. Why? Would you like to have more money than all your wildest dreams? Yes, I would. And then an hour later, would you like to walk into a dealership and point to a car and then just buy it? I go, of course. How? And then 3 hours later, bet the over in the Blackhawks game in the first quarter. First period or something. I go, oh, okay. Too bad that game was 6 days ago, you fucking idiot.
Now, David, let me ask you something. I understand that on this Here Comes the Funny tour, there's a group chat that you guys have engaged in. How's that going?
Well, obviously we all just make fun of each other, and Rob got a good one in on Adam, because Adam is not off limits. He really pretends to be one of the guys. And he says, hey, I'm fair game. But Rob goes, hey, Adam, when you do the show, you should tape it, and then you see where the jokes don't work, and then take those jokes out of your act and put better ones in. He goes, that's what I do!
By the way, I just want to say about the private jet, sometimes Adam's nice enough to actually let us go up front where he sits. Which is
that's nice.
David Spade and I have had a hell of a time. Well, he's been a good man to me, I'll tell you that.
When we get home at night, we all get to this hotel, and then when we walk up, me and Norm are on the same floor, and then separate from Adam. And then we go up, and then Norm goes, hey, want to cruise in for a while? But I'm sort of the biggest puss in the tour. I always go to bed early. I go, nah, I'm going to crash and probably take a bath, just crash. He goes, you can take one here and we get some food. I'm like, no thanks, Cosby. I'm just going to sit. And he goes, nah, come on in. He goes, we'll order food, we'll have some fun, we'll talk, play games. I go, I wish a chick would ever do this in my life. So I go, I'm just going to cruise. He goes, all right. And then the next day he goes, he's with everyone. He goes, last night, Spade, I ordered all this food for him, and he blows me off.
The biggest star. It's amazing how, like, some of your friends, like, seriously, like those guys who came out of Saturday Night Live, like Sandler, you, Chris Rock. There's a lot of guys who sort of all of a sudden are like real big players.
Yeah, Norm got his own TV show.
Norm's doing well. What?
What?
Do you hang out with Norm, or is it impossible?
It's pretty impossible because he's crazy.
He is.
In L.A., I call him and he goes, I go, what happened last week? I called you to go on. You called me? And I go, yeah. On my phone? I go, yeah. And he goes, oh, yeah, I got that. I go, well, you didn't call me back? No.
And he's serious.
Yeah, he's crazy.
And yeah, I know. Like, I have him on the show.
I love him, though. He's the funniest guy around. I think you need to be kind of crazy to be really funny.
He is very funny. I love him, too. And he has a gambling problem,
Yeah.
He was telling us how
secret,
he was all excited that he had $80,000. He won $80,000 in Vegas, but he had lost like $100,000 on basketball.
Right, and that's on nickel slots. That's how serious he is.
Did you always know he had a gambling problem?
Mm-hmm.
You did. When did you know that? At Saturday Night Live?
I first knew he had a pee in a bottle problem.
Right.
Remember that? You always talk about
it's
that.
great.
And then I knew.
Does he still save his urine? Do you know?
I don't know. He used to put it in Ziploc baggies, sign it, and send it to fans.
Is that true?
No.
Oh.
But he did. Right. He would take, after Saturday Night Live, they give you a car, a limousine, if you want to go to the party, and he would take it to Atlantic City.
Really?
He's a hard ass. He's hardcore, dude.
I know he'll even get into fist fights.
And then he'll stay at a table for hours and hours.
What do you think of that?
I feel lucky.
And then you don't even know if he's married or single. It's never really clear.
I don't know, but I know girls like him. He's when you're that something's that wrong, they pick up on it and like it.
They like the tragedy of that.
Fixer-upper, yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'm gonna make him a regular guy.
Right, but it never worked.
So we get the
following Dennis is almost impossible.
Yeah.
And so I got it. This time it's me, Norm, and Dennis. I don't even know the order, but they're both hard to follow. They do great.
Norm has replaced Super Dave now as comedy's biggest enigma / beloved with all the other people.
Crazy man, yeah.
Yeah.
But he is always
Everyone
funny.
has 9 Norm stories. Even I have
Of
like 3
course.
Norm stories.
Someone said you had some connection to Norm. Do you?
He wrote for Grantland.
Oh.
We had mutual friends, and
That was it.
And he wanted to write a golf column about like golf gambling. I'm like, great. He did 4, and then we never heard from him again.
Disappeared, yeah.
Then saw him 2 years later. Was like, hey, I love doing that golf column. It's like
he's like, what happened? And you're like, here's what happened. You cut off the world.
Yeah, we emailed you repeatedly, and you didn't answer anything. But yeah,
Sound familiar,
it was
Norm?
classic.
That sounds about right. If we were in a court, I'd go, I can vouch for that story. I know nothing about it.
I believe your version.
But with me, I go, Norm. He goes, David, you want to have dinner?
Yeah.
And then I go, yeah. Me and you eating dinner and then talking about fun old times? Sure. How about tomorrow night? Yes. And then no word, doesn't follow up. And then 4 weeks later, 3 a.m, hello? And then 3:01. David, answer me. I go, Norm, I can't play this anymore because it's funny, but it's
Letterman's love for Norm Macdonald is one of the most. I would watch a documentary about that too.
Yeah,
He
by the
seems
way,
like he just appreciates and loves him the most, and I have no idea why.
I busted Norm wide open because that last Letterman,
Yeah,
he went on. This is how he got so solidified in.
yeah.
So we have the same manager, me and Norm. So I go, hey, Gervitz. He goes, did you see Norm on Letterman last night? I go, no. I saw some chick bawling. Why, was Norm on too? And he goes, I'm going to tell him. I go, please do. I go, Norm, were you crying on Letterman? He goes, no, I got teary because I go, that's crying. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's tears are
And
crying.
he goes, no, because I love Letterman. I go, I know, but relax.
Right.
I go, we all go on there. We all love Letterman. And then I go, oh, guess who's producing your show? The tears paid off. Letterman, will you do my show? Remember me? I was crying. I'm like, what a baby alive cries real
Effective.
tears. I know, it's funny, but it's a good thing to bust his balls. Actually, I have to say, one of my favorite things I've done, and I haven't seen, is me on Norm's show on Netflix. It was probably a year or two ago, a year ago, when he did his show. He had 10 episodes. I was the first one.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I knew it was on Netflix. I didn't know. He said, David.
Yeah.
Our friendship's a total one-way street. Will you do me a favor? And then when you ask me for one, I'll disappear. I go, of course not. So I go, all right. So I go on this thing. And I'm sort of just shitting on it. I didn't know we started. We're just talking.
Yeah.
You know, like we were talking when I came in.
Right.
And then he goes, all right, no, he didn't say that. He goes, let's go to a commercial. And I go, oh, are we on? And we're going to a commercial? I go, no, we started. I had like a can of, LaCroix or something. I go, I can't have a can up here, can I? No one's even. I was talking to my assistant. I was just screwing off, waiting for because you just sit down.
Norm was
no
really
one says a
going for
word.
something.
And it was funny. And I liked it. And then people would say, I like the show because, first of all, some would go, I love that you guys are great friends. Someone would say, are you guys even friends? Because it was such an oddball, weirdo thing that, and I didn't even let myself watch it because I go, I just like the idea of remembering it and going, it was weird. And then I would bust his balls about something, and then he would drop me about something and get on my ass. And then it was over. And I gave him another hard out, but I gave him 90. And he goes, I hear you have to leave after. And I go, you have to fucking continue life, you asshole. Who wants to sit here for 90 minutes and talk stupid shit? Anyway, I have 10 minutes of stories, Norm. You want me here for 90. So 80 is going to be dead air. So.
All right. So your show is 11:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I feel this is a wrap up. It is, right?
Going over an hour.
Did I go over an hour?
Well, I could keep going, but I didn't. You complained earlier about when you're with somebody for 90 minutes.
I know. I'll complain after.
You can come back.
Oh, this is Norm. Are you on his show right now?
Norm, man.
No, I'll tell him I did this and get him mad.
I wrote 30 golf columns for him. No, it was really 4.
Do you like tweets that get one like? Come to my site.
I go, you can't describe putting during, not describe putting, that's fine. But he just is a play-by-play announcer of a golf game.
It's the weirdest use of Twitter anyone's ever done, where he's like, good putt by Tiger.
I know, that's why you like him, though.
Great wedge by Koepka.
I go, ooh, go back 10. You got 3 likes on this one. But I go, it's only because no one can keep up with it. They're like, oh, I want to, oh, there's another one. Oh, there's another one. Oh.
I feel like it's a bit on how dumb Twitter is.
Yeah, maybe he's just doing a long play.
Yeah, it's a 7-year.
I can't wait till he's on the show because we were saying, who should I put him with? And he goes, David, I love your show. He analyzes him. He's smart.
Yeah.
And he also goes, I like when sometimes it's comics that don't know. Oh, whatever, I won't say that. But he just says, David, I won't do any written stuff. Let's just do something. I go, of course. I go, what's written? We bring up a subject. Miley Cyrus makes out with that chick. She likes a little whisker biscuit now and then.
Right.
I go, just say whatever you want. That's all I do. I go, she eats at the soup kitchen. I go, just say whatever cracks you up. And he goes, yeah, she dines at the Y. And he goes, yeah, stuff like that. And then I go, well, when do you want to come on, crickets? And then 3 days later, great show last night. I want to sit with you. No one else around. You respect me, don't you? I will tell you the good and the bad of the show. And don't worry, it's mostly good. I go, great. Of course I want to hear what you think. You're good. David, do you understand? No one else can be there. It's me and you.
Oh, he doesn't want 2 other people.
No, just when he tells me.
Yeah.
Dinner. He goes, you're doing a lot of things right. And I want to confirm because if you respect me, which I think you do, who cares what these other motherfuckers say? I'm going to tell you I like it. And that means it's good. I go, of course. Then he has to reiterate that 50 times. I go, when do you want dinner? Crickets. 9 days later. Hello? David, do you still have your phone? Yes, Norm. I just was asleep at 3 a.m. like the rest of the planet.
Do you think there should be a podcast of just people discussing their experiences and friendships with Norm Macdonald?
Everyone loves Norm because it's too
Everyone loves Norm. That's the name of the title.
It's too interesting because
this is what
you
Super
don't know
Dave
how
is
much
like
is an
that.
act, what's not, but he does get you, and he doesn't want to drive. And then I go, no, because he lives like a marina. I go, no one wants to come get you in the marina. No one's going to the marina for anything at 6 o'clock. If you want to go eat, and then Uber came, I go, Norm, now we're going to be best friends. I'll pay for it. I'm going to send an Uber. He goes, I don't want to get in that car with a stranger. Oh, we had this whole thing fixed. You don't want to get in an Uber? Jeez, it could be easier.
When does he officially move to Palm Springs or Palm Desert or one of those types of places?
And retire?
Like Super Dave did. No, and then just constantly tell you he's coming back.
I
Hey, I'm going to be in LA on
I
Tuesday.
know.
That feels like the next phase for him.
I get excited because he's very elusive, so it's fun when we hang out because he's Greta Garbo of the comedians.
Yeah.
But he is fun, and he's good looking. I always say you look like Paul Newman. Huh? I go, you do. You're tall and cool looking. All these girls were into him, like quietly, like you'd hear these girls. Norm's hot.
He's still my favorite Weekend Update guy.
Yeah, he's great. He's crazy and weird.
He really, really thrived on not getting a laugh.
Yeah,
he enjoyed it more than anyone who ever did.
And
he
I
would
go,
stare
by the
the
way,
audience down.
Your whole thing of not getting laughs, you don't have to drag that whole thing to my show.
I just never seen anything like it.
Do the crazy one where you get laughs and then go back. But
Have
he's
you had
always says
Corolla
something
on?
smart. Oh, sorry, that was my zipper. Corolla is coming on. Yeah.
Yeah, Corolla. I would say Corolla
I don't know
would be good for
Corolla
this
well.
format.
He's coming on, and I saw him the other night at one of those clubs. He's great. Yeah, we're ready for him. We got all these. We got Bill Burr and I think not Gaffney. Oh, Jim
Bill
Jeffries
Burr would be
together.
good, too.
We've got just pretty much every comic eventually coming on. So it's good.
Well,
And-
thanks for coming on this.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
appreciate
man.
it. This was fun. Good
This
luck
was
with the
fun.
show.
Thank
I'm glad
you.
you're doing it.
Sorry I got lost in the lot, but it's understandable with this lot.
Thanks.
New songs on the radio sounding fake. Prince and Genesis for better anyway. Am I just being too real?
I've seen a guy kill that hard and bomb that hard. And it's a gift. A gift that people would pay that many. A gift to pay that much for a ticket and he could still walk up. Didn't matter what the price. They would leave. And when he killed hard. Very hard to follow. We did a tour. I'll show you a few pictures from the tour that our friend Julia Jones took. She sent me this weekend. I think they're great and they're very cool. Norm watching me on stage. I'm watching him and I've never seen him.
would like to say a few words about his memorial.
Yeah,
David?
Norm, Dana, thank you. We went to a memorial, and I'm only bringing this up because Downey's on today, and we did an intro for him, but I just wanted to do because I just went to this thing, and it was supposed to be more of a celebration. You know, it was kind of a funeral. We never had a funeral for Norm, so it was like a good way to everyone get in the same room. I think it was called a memorial, but I thought that wasn't too catchy, and they shouldn't trademark it. It's not catchy like Toyotathon, you know what I mean? So it was supposed to be like a light-hearted thing, but you know, those things do get heavy.
Yeah.
No matter how fun you want it to be, and no matter how much Norm would have wanted it to be light. And so we all gathered. The only interesting thing was, I think they're doing some sort of documentary for Netflix because it was filmed. And that's, you know, they wanted me to speak, and that's harder when people are filming it, as you know, because it's a serious thing, and it's embarrassing. It's hard to speak anyway in front of people. And the funny part, you know, so Conan went up, he kind of hosted it. The audience was peppered with, like, you know, SNL people, writers, comedians, Dave Attell, Bill Murray from SNL, Sandler, Conan, I mean, Smigel, all these people are everywhere. So a little intimidating, but all friends. And Dana, I don't know if I told you this. So Conan speaks. He brings up Lori Joe, who's Norm's right-hand man, been with him forever. She's the greatest. She set the whole thing up. Ted Sarandos had COVID. He couldn't come. And he's the biggest fan of this whole thing. So by the time Downey spoke, and he was great. And then I went up to speak, and there's stairs going up there, and Conan goes to shake my hand. I wipe out in front of everyone on my face. I don't even do any jokes. I don't go, not funny, Norm. You know, I didn't say anything. I just said, got up, went to the stage, did my little speech, 4 minutes, got off. And then a couple of people, Molly Shannon, a lot of people spoke, kneeling. And then we were sequestered to another room, another whole building, where 6 of us watched his special. That was the interesting part.
So
he did a special,
you told me
Dana.
about that. What was it? How did his special happen, Norm?
So you know how I used to do those monologues during Corona where I'd sit at my desk? It was like that. He had a microphone in his hand, and Lori Joe was filming him, and he just said, you know, I keep trying to do my special, but he was getting weaker, which we didn't know, and they kept shutting down theaters, and they wouldn't let him go. And then he goes, I'm just going to run it once, just kind of say it out loud. And then he never got to shoot it. So they said, let's use that and kind of make a documentary. So 6 of us watched it.
So
It's
he's
very
just
weird.
in his room with Lori Joe with a mic going.
No
right.
audience, no nothing.
Yeah.
Even speaking at the funeral memorial, it's very hard when there's like a dolly shot, you know, when you're talking and it's like, push in, he might cry. No, I'm not crying at this part.
That
okay,
is
pull back.
different. Yeah.
It's just definitely something, you know, they filmed the Comedy Store with Bob Saget. I thought that was just odd because I think people at home don't know when you make fun of someone at something like that as a comedian, they probably think it's very mean, but it's all of us just lightheartedly making fun of Norm, also saying something sad, you know, whatever. So here we are watching the special, Dana, and very interesting. It's about almost an hour. He's got classic Norm stuff. Some's very rough, you know, where people would be offended, which is good. And some stuff just really kills. And some stuff he meanders. But, you know, he hasn't had a chance to polish it or anything. It's just, hey, I'm going to run through it. So it's not really, we were discussing that. Would this work in a crowd? Yes. But Norm has his, for what he does, it was perfect. They're going to really like it. And we talked about it, discussed about, mostly everything was just positive, of course, and excited to be a witness to that.
Did you ever get like a wave of just the surrealness of it, or a wave of like sort of, it's just so strange to see your friend, you know, knowing that
I definitely cried. Yeah. I definitely cried. I didn't at the memorial, but that one, he starts talking about his mom, and you're watching a guy, and this is the last time I've seen him because I've seen him before that, but it was right before Corona. So I haven't seen him, and he looks a little different, you know, and he's a little gaunt, and then you hear him talk, and he was pretty sharp. I mean, it wasn't like, he was smoother than my special. Like, he never looked down. I'm like, does he have a set list? What is he looking at? How does he know what's coming up? There was like, no, maybe they tightened it up, but
yeah.
So definitely we're seeing, and then we talked, and then, you know, we had that Adam Sandler taping after that. So, which is coming up soon. So it was a long day. Sandler was in there too. And I just thought it was interesting. And I thought people should know we finally got to have something for Norm. We never talked about it ever. I never talked about it. And I'm glad I got to see it, but it was a little bit of a crier at times, you know.
I always like to think when someone's gone that they're still here. I kind of hear their voice in my head sometimes. And I think what they would say about everything, I don't know. I'm in denial about people being gone.
And also in the last 2 years when I haven't seen him, or a lot of people, you just think they're out there. You just don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you'll run into them. And with Norm, you're just thinking if Norm was alive, he wouldn't want to be here because it's an odd situation, and it's hard to be at those things. And
It's an exciting day here at 30 Rock. You know, the Rosie O'Donnell show premiered today. And I was in its tapes at the same floor as Saturday Night Live on 8H. Mm-hmm. They had flowers sent. There was the whole, it's unbelievable. You know, people must love her. There's flowers all along the entire 8H. Right. All flowers. They're sent by, like, there's one from Madonna, one from Elizabeth Taylor, Regis and Kathy Lee. I've never seen so many flowers. I didn't even realize you could eat flowers. I didn't even know that. But, no.
Hiya, Rosie. I'll be your pal.
That's
mighty neighborly of you,
Norm. No, she's
nice of you to eat all those flowers.
No, she's great. The show is great, you know.
You're screwed now.
Postal authorities removed a cigarette from a photo of blues artist Robert Johnson to help dignify the musician in a new stamp they've issued in his honor. This isn't the first time the post office has altered a photograph. In fact, the original photo used on the Elvis stamp was based on this photo. King enjoying a hoagie. Ted Kennedy says now that he's won re-election, he can finally relax, get off that crazy diet, and really let himself go. New medical research shows that men and women have different food cravings. Men preferring meat and women preferring sweets. Scientists trace this back to caveman days, when men had to go out and hunt for food while women sat on their fat asses eating chocolates. Last week, Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson visited the Big Apple and showed off her 14-pound weight loss. Hopefully, this will not interfere with her official duties of sitting on her fat ass all day long. On a talk show recently, Joey Buttafuoco said of Amy Fisher, "I hope she gets hers and dies in prison like Jeffrey Dahmer. And when she does, I will go out and eat cake." Moments later, however, he admitted, "Look, I'll be honest with you, even if nothing bad happens to Amy Fisher, I'll probably go out and eat cake." In what is considered a remarkably short period of time, the head of the Federal Advisory Board, Dr. Peter Mellman, has given speedy approval to a controversial new anti-obesity drug. It should be noted, however, Dr. Mellman's wife is a fat pig. This week in Minneapolis, the Minnesota Obesity Center officially opened. Its goals? To find ways to identify behaviors that lead to obesity. Also, it's a good place to meet fat chicks. And in California, Christian Brando was released from state prison Monday after serving nearly 5 years for killing his sister's boyfriend. Meanwhile, his father, Marlon Brando, ate 9 pizzas. Well, at a local town meeting in Montpelier, Vermont last week, representatives from the McDonald's Corporation who want to put a restaurant in a historic district were booed by angry residents, but they were cheered by the town fat guy. Every town has one, the town fat guy. John Goodman has announced that he will not be returning to Roseanne next year. So how will the show get rid of him on screen? Well, insiders now say that over the last few episodes of the season, Roseanne will gradually eat him. According to a controversial new biography, Elizabeth Taylor likes her lovemaking loud, rough, and frequent. Coincidentally, that's also how she likes to eat. Well, television history will be made this week when film legend Elizabeth Taylor appears as herself on all 4 CBS Monday night sitcoms. It's part of the network's new campaign, Must Eat TV. She enjoys eating. The New York Post has reported that Michael Jackson wants his closest friend in the world, Elizabeth Taylor, to be the godmother of his child. However, those close to the pair worry that this could eventually lead to heated arguments over whether the child will be molested or eaten. Yeah, Ricky Lake, you know, she really is an animal lover, though. She has 3 cats, 2 dogs, and a big ass that follows her around everywhere. Former Wilson Phillips member Carney Wilson's new talk show kicked off this month. According to Carney, her show will be different from the others in that guests will be treated with respect and dignity. And then she will eat them. Talk show host Ricky Lake has announced that she will finally publicly apologize for her role in a destructive anti-fur demonstration. Then she will eat a huge can of frosting. In the new movie Mrs. Winterbourne, talk show host Ricky Lake plays the part of a young mother-to-be. According to film's producers, Miss Lake was so serious about achieving a realistic pregnant look, she forced herself to lose 30 pounds. This week, renowned heart surgeon Michael DeBakey attacked the hypocrisy of Hollywood stars who oppose the use of animals in medical research and yet wear ribbons supporting the war on deadly diseases like AIDS. In response, animal activist Ricky Lake said, quote, "But the red ribbon diverts attention from my gigantic ass." A sad story from the world of entertainment this week. Talk show host Ricky Lake had to get rid of her dog Dudley after the pooch became too aggressive with her 7-month-old son Milo. A clearly saddened Lake said, "It broke my heart to get rid of that dog, but he was delicious." She ate a whole dog. In Virginia, police are looking for a stripper who stabbed a man for telling her she was too fat to strip. Police warn that the woman is armed and extremely fat. At an emotional press conference this week, a now exonerated Richard Jewell spoke about his ordeal as the chief suspect in the Olympic Park bombing. Quote, "I couldn't think straight, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat," he said. Then later he admitted, "All right, I could eat. I couldn't sleep, though. I had trouble." The FBI, still pursuing its investigation of the Olympic Park bombing, has decided to launch an internet web page. Net users can log on to view crime scene photos, leave tips, and try to guess Richard Jewell's weight. Last weekend, in a dramatic rescue off the coast of Long Island, fishermen pulled a 300-pound man from frigid waters. They were alerted by his desperate cries of, "Help, help, I'm starving, I'm starving." Big fat guy. In New Zealand, a convicted swindler who weighs 670 pounds has been sentenced to house arrest because he is too big for prison. According to prison officials, it took 4 inmates just to rape him. Huge man.
Norm, I don't understand something.
What?
You went to a doctor, you said, hey, what's with me? I'm around Elle McPherson and I'm not getting aroused.
I didn't mention her.
Yeah, but and you start to get concerned that, hey, why am I not getting aroused around these beautiful women?
Yeah, because I used to always get aroused all the time, no matter what. Like, I could see a giant fat woman, like, part of her ass.
Right, and you get excited by that.
Yeah.
Are you on medication of any kind?
No. I just, now I'm just...
Do you need that testosterone patch or something?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, it makes you more masculine. You know what I mean?
But then your hair falls out.
Yeah, you got to be careful about that.
So, Norm, what do you think about?
What?
When you're masturbating?
What do you think about?
Well, you know, like...
Fat woman's ass? No. Like, who do you think? Did you ever think about Elle McPherson?
No.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Who do you think about?
I don't think
girls
about...
you just met.
I'll tell you something. I can't think about, like, girls that I don't think I could have sex with, because I don't have that good an imagination.
Right, it's got to be someone you think you can get.
Right.
That's how I am. Right. So
I sometimes I think of, like, kind of unattractive girls where I'm...
right, when you're doing stuff.
You're
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too, though.
Yeah.
Like sometimes like one of the interns here or something I'll think about, because I think that, like, I could definitely get You ever think about Rosie O'Donnell when you're doing it?
Lord.
No way, right?
Name some names.
Yeah, name some names of who you think about.
You know what Rosie O'Donnell would be good at giving?
What?
Really wide head.
Oh, that's funny. Does Rosie O'Donnell have the biggest head on the planet?
Yeah,
she really does. How much does her head weigh? Do you take a guess?
About her head weight?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that age-old argument, I'm not going to get into.
You're not even going to get into it.
Yeah.
I see. And she's on the new $100 bill. Did you see her picture? It's pretty wild.
The richest girl in the world, billionaire Athena Onassis, celebrated her 10th birthday this week. What's it like to be the richest girl in the world? Well, to give you some idea, at the party, they had 2 cakes. And now, Weekend Update would like to wish a happy birthday to comic legend George Burns, who turned 100 years old today. You know, I don't know the secret to his longevity, but I think I speak for all of us when I say I hope Pauly Shore doesn't know it either. Well, a big seller this holiday season is Michael Bolton's Christmas album, This Is the Time. Happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap. Kenny G has a Christmas album out this year. Hey, happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap. Well, I don't know. This week, the chairman of the board, Frank Sinatra, turned 81 years old, and he was honored by having the Empire State Building lit in blue. Also, in Mr. Sinatra's honor, the Empire State Building had the Twin Towers rough up the Chrysler Building. Frank Sinatra turned 80 this week. Frank Sinatra. And although the singer is said to be suffering from Alzheimer's, he had a typically festive birthday, singing a duet with a hooker and having sex with Tony Bennett. Probably going to end up in Jersey with a meat hook up my ass, but it was a good joke.
Celebrating April 1st birthdays. This is a sort of news thing. Russian pianist Sergei Rachmaninoff, who was born on this day in 1872.
Yeah, I know that dude.
Rapper Method Man is 41. Debbie Reynolds turns 80 today. Rachel Maddow is 39. And former German Chancellor Helmut Schmidt would have been 95 today. April Fools. Former German Chancellor Helmut Schmidt is alive and well.
In England, a woman was arrested for throwing a birthday party for her 16-year-old son that included marijuana, alcohol, and strippers. Now she's got even bigger problems. What to do for his 17th birthday?
Whatever. Kim and Kanye celebrated their baby Northwest's his name's Northwest, his 1-year birthday by throwing a big party. What's that?
It's a her.
Oh, it's a girl. Yeah, Northwest, of course. I should have known by the name. North, yeah. Anyway, she had her 1-year birthday, and they threw a big party with jugglers, a bouncy house, and a Ferris wheel. The bad news is that Northwest is a baby, so it doesn't know what the fuck is going on. It's like a Gilbert Godfrey joke.
Okay. Today is the 11th birthday of President Obama's youngest daughter, Sasha, or as I like to call her, the uppity one.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Jesus
I'm a regular mortal.
Super Dave Osborne on the line.
I was going to ask you to phone Super Dave. Yeah.
How's it going, Super Dave? Hey,
Happy birthday, Norm.
Is it my birthday?
It's tomorrow your birthday.
It's your birthday. That's why I'm calling.
Super
you know
Dave.
I got you? A picture of Sarah Palin's husband.
Oh.
And I had to make the X very big.
That's good.
Oh, no one asked you to comment what's good.
No, I
You know what makes me upset?
What?
Let me tell you what makes me upset is with all the crap that's going on in our country, OJ is not going to be able to vote. You know, McCain thinks that Obama was driving the Bronco.
Oh, he gave you a rim shot,
Yeah,
Super
that's
Dave.
right.
I know, that's what he does. He gives me a rib shot. Norm, happy birthday. You know how funny this guy is?
Yeah, I do.
He's the greatest. What's he doing in Chicago?
What are you doing in
Hey,
Chicago?
You know who's lucky or Fox? They got Philadelphia and Tampa Bay.
Philadelphia and Tampa.
That ought to be that might be right below till death do us part.
Once again, the stylings of Super Dave Osborne. Super Dave Osborne with Norm Macdonald in the studio. Norm Macdonald at Zanies. Go to zanies.com for more information. Back to Super Dave, already in progress. Hey, are you voting for Joe the Plumber, Super Dave?
Joe the Plumber. That was the most insane. You know what? I think that McCain, I mean, first of all, he's not the same McCain I used to see. I mean, but he's a totally different man. I mean, I think he's wild. Even his wife doesn't stand too close to him now at the end. But I think there's a trigger word like banana where you get him to come right over the desk.
He did look angry.
Didn't he look angry last night? His eyes were rolling and he almost came. And what I love is when Obama's talking, he goes, yep, sure, yeah,
he
okay.
He did.
But I thought McCain won the debate, but everybody.
He did, but he was wild.
Yeah, he was
He
insane.
came in there, he was white. It was like like one of those fights where you beat a guy up on the ground, you know, those things.
No, he won. So you believe he did win the debate, right? I thought
Yeah,
he made Obama look uncomfortable, I thought.
Yeah, but.
Well, I was uncomfortable too. How could you not be uncomfortable?
Well, let me hear something here.
Senator Obama, I am not President Bush. I don't care about an old washed-up terrorist. If you wanted to run against President Bush, you should have run 4 years ago.
Why would he call him a washed-up terrorist?
You know what would have been funny is if when he said, do you think Sarah Palin could be president, that all of them just laughed till the debate was over?
I tell you, they should have had that music. I think Bob Schaefer, though, is the best moderator. I was saying that.
He really is, except he fell asleep once.
During it.
But yeah, he kept forcing them to answer the question.
You know that if Sarah Palin and Dan Quayle had a baby, it would be George W. Bush.
Super Dave, you gotta keep this stuff for Match Game.
Oh my God.
Match Game?
Why did you bring that
Now,
up?
wait a minute. What are you talking about? No, tell me. Norm, tell me.
You know what? I'll tell you something, Johnny. I'm never calling you again. And Norm, I love First of all, Norm is the funniest man in the world, and he's a great father, but he's impossible to get a hold of.
I just got a hold of him.
Yeah, but he never calls you back. You leave messages, and he never calls you back.
No, we got to get together, though, man.
No. You always say that, and we always do, and we never do.
Hey, guess what? Guess what, Super Dave? This will pay. Now it makes perfect sense to me. I hear this about you, Norm. That Super Dave, I don't believe he's telling. I don't think he's embellishing. I think he's telling the truth.
No, I am telling the truth. Let me tell you something. How old are you going to be tomorrow?
46.
He doesn't have a driver's license.
He doesn't drive. Now,
What does that say to you?
A lot of people are like that. Actually.
Okay, no, they're not. A lot of people aren't like that.
If you're 96, what about opening the debates last night with all the crap that is going on?
Wait, let's go back to the match game. All right, now here he is. It's time now for Super Dave. This question is: Norm Macdonald does not blank. All right.
This is the way you want to play it.
No, I don't want to play it. No.
This is the way we're playing.
All right, Super, wait a minute.
This is the way we're going.
Super Dave.
Now on,
Super Dave. I want to agree with what you said about Norm Macdonald here in the studio. I want to tell you what I think. I heard that he has not spoken to his own brother in 5 years.
That's ridiculous.
Well, sometimes you take a break.
No, wait. True or false? Have you spoken to your brother? You have two brothers, right?
Yeah.
One of them is in Canada. Both are in Canada, right?
One's in Washington. One's in Canada.
You have not spoken to your brother. Is it Neil? Is it?
What are you telling?
Is it true or false? Is it true or false? We're talking with Norm Macdonald, actor, writer, producer, stand-up comedian. Super Dave Osborne one time said, I can never get him to return calls. His brother Neil Macdonald, who lives in a farm town in Quebec City, says he has never returned his calls in 5 years.
That's ridiculous.
Is that true, Neil?
Listen, I'm a Canadian reporter living in Washington, D.C. I'm used to not getting my calls returned.
Yeah, Neil, how you doing?
That's your brother, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Super Dave, his brother, Neil, answer the question to see if, so Super Dave will not feel bad. Neil, have you spoken to Norm, your brother, in the last 5 years?
I haven't spoken to Norm in a long time. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to get your calls returned.
Wait, Super Dave. See, I always think Super Dave's kind of lying.
So Super Dave's first name is Super?
Yes.
So, like, if I called myself Great Neil, you'd have to call me.
You know, Neil, there's a reason he hasn't talked to you in 5 years. Because you bore the living crap out of him. Now, let me tell you this. The Queen of England is walking with an administrator in the hospital.
What?
I said the Queen of England is walking with an administrator in a hospital. She walks by a room, and a man is masturbating. She said, oh, my God, what's going on? He said, well, he has a problem. It's a physical problem, and if he doesn't do that 5 times a day, he could explode and die. She said, oh, I'm sorry. Then they go to the second floor, where she walks by a room, a nurse is giving a man oral sex. She says, oh, my God, what's wrong? He said he's got the same problem as the guy on one, but better insurance.
All right.
No, but if that was in Canada, the government would provide it.
See that? You know who should hook up?
Norm, wait another 5 years. I'm telling you, if that's what he does, if he comes back with that Canadian crap, don't talk to him.
Now, listen, here's what I want to know. I want to know how a guy, you're 46, are you, Norm?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know how a guy who was born 46 years ago in Quebec City and grew up in the same house I did acquired a Brooklyn accent. What the hell? Where'd that come from?
Wow.
Do I have a Brooklyn accent?
I don't know, but your brother now is dogging you. Super Dave is correct.
And I'm seeing him on Bill O'Reilly. Norman is one of the 37 Americans left who still think George Bush is doing a great job.
Wow.
I do.
No wonder you haven't talked to your brother in 5 years.
No, I think
someone just drop an anchor off the boat. Weren't we sailing in comedy heaven and someone came on and just dropped the Canadian
No,
anchor
listen, I'm not a
off the side of the
professional
boat?
comedian. I'm very funny, though. I'm a very funny guy.
Yeah, well, why don't you show it? What are you waiting for? How old are you?
No, I think George Bush is terrible.
Wait, let's go here.
No, George Bush is not terrible. Terrible is one thing. George Bush has to climb up to be terrible.
Super Dave Osborne with
What
us.
do you want?
Norm Macdonald in the studio, and his brother Neil just joined us.
Other family members that can really make this a party?
Listen, it's great. It's great being on the same line with you there, Super. I watch you on Larry David. I think it's pretty funny.
Oh, then I like you. I take it.
Oh! Look at that. He loves him on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and now he's a fan.
Oh, I'm a big fan.
Big fan of Neil Macdonald's, are you?
I can tell you how to
going back now in another 5 years.
I can tell you how to get the CBC's news show online there, Super. You can watch it on your computer. I'm sure you will.
Thank you very much. Are you a sheltered person like Norm is?
No.
But you know what? Can I say something about Norm that no one knows?
I spend all my days trying to get people to call me back here. I mean, I'm one of these ignored.
Quiet down, Neil. I'm talking.
Super Dave is talking.
Great father.
No, Super Dave is yelling.
I'm telling you that. Well, how else am I going to make my point? Norm is a great father. I don't know if you know that. I'm
I
serious.
do. And Dylan's a great boy. He looks a lot like Norm did when he was young. That same sort of angelic blonde thing going there, you know.
Okay, take over the show and I'll quiet down. Let's see what happens.
Just a second once.
See if Johnny,
Yeah, go
see if
ahead.
Johnny loses the call letters totally.
No, but Super.
What?
Neil actually lives in Washington. He doesn't live in Canada.
I'm going to Canada in 2 weeks.
But he lives in Washington.
I haven't lived in Canada for 10 years.
Why do you live in Washington?
Because I'm a foreign correspondent for Canadian television.
Oh, that's a good job.
Yeah, Norm, that is right, Super Dave. It is a good job.
I said it's a good job.
Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
You didn't mean it.
I did mean it. You know, no one asked you to interpret for me.
I'm just kidding.
This
I'm
is
hurt.
not the match game, my friend.
The match game with Super Dave Osborne. The match game. Neil McDonald, Washington, D.C. Norm's older brother is a blank.
Norm, why don't you call me back?
Is a blank. Super Dave, he is a blank.
Norm, why don't you call? Hey, Berta says happy birthday too. Why don't you call me back?
Oh, give my love to Berta, man. We'll go eat.
Yeah, let's go eat.
Yeah.
And you know what? We'll talk about your brother.
Yeah, Super Dave said he's going to go eat with me like 90 years ago. I've never even met him.
Oh, no kidding. He always says that. That's his line. That's Super's line.
No, it is
Let's
fair.
go eat, and
Yeah.
then you never get a dinner. You're like Red Buttons, you know?
Yeah, that's right. And Red Buttons is dead, Norm.
You're like
Red Buttons was waiting for Super to fucking...
Right.
And I never got a dinner.
You know what's funny?
What?
It's not funny. It's not funny.
I'm hurting and I'm angry.
Americans
No, but this is
are hurting
not funny.
right
We're
now.
hurting.
They're angry. They're hurting and they're angry.
We're hurting.
They're angry.
We're angry.
They're hurting.
I'm hurting.
Americans, all right.
I'm hurting.
They're angry.
And I'm angry. We are. We're all hurting and we're angry by all of this.
You know, Norm and I were going to do a radio show,
That's right.
but then Neil wouldn't be a part of it, so we said no.
Neil, why don't you help those guys out with their radio show? Norm, Super Dave, and Neil McDonald.
Yeah, that's just what they need.
They do. Hey, listen, do you want to say happy birthday to your brother here?
Yeah,
You know, Neil sounds like a good guy. How come you never call him?
Yeah, why don't you ever call your brother? Norm, it's terrible. That's terrible.
No, I'm going to start texting.
No, what?
You do that.
Wait.
I hate that so much.
I want to be
have a
clear.
cell phone. He doesn't have a cell phone. That's nonsense.
You hate texting?
I hate texting. I hate it. I
Hey.
hate people walking around staring at their hand.
Welcome to the 21st century,
It is,
buddy.
It is.
Yeah, come
I
on.
love texting.
Yeah.
You know why?
Texting?
It's
Are you
very
kidding?
quick. Right to the point. Get to the point.
What's wrong with talking?
That's too much trouble. Too much trouble. Norm, wait a minute. You don't have a computer, do you? Or you don't drive a car?
No, I don't.
You don't have a computer?
I have a computer, but I don't...
Say happy birthday to Norm now.
Happy birthday. Berta says happy birthday. Teddy says happy birthday. And Lori Joe says happy birthday. And we hope to see you soon, but we know we won't because we'll call and you won't return our call.
You better return his
What?
call, Norm.
Yeah, why don't we have go to dinner?
Yeah.
But that's what I say, and then all I get is that stupid.
You like steak?
Leave a message.
How about you like steak, right?
Yeah, well, where do you want to go?
Houston's?
Let's do it.
Go to Houston's in Century City Plaza.
Yeah, you know that Houston?
Sure. Yeah, that's where you go.
Did you hear what Johnny B just said?
That's exactly where we're going.
That's when you got to go. Go to the one in Century City
No,
Plaza.
that's where we've gone before. That's why I'm so amazed that you said that. Whenever me and Super Dave get together, we get together at the Century City.
That's where we go.
But are you amazed that Johnny B just said that?
No, Johnny B never, he does things that amaze me all the time.
Do you know?
I wish he was back on the air.
Hey, Super, because they have great food at that
Oh,
Houston's.
my God, yeah.
That's good food.
Artichoke dip.
Artichoke dip, there you
Yeah.
go. Hey, Super, when you guys go, can I go with you guys?
You know how much fun that would be?
Oh, man, but Neil's got to come, though. Really?
Neil will wait on us.
Neil?
How would you like to have Neil as your waiter? I'll have steak. I wouldn't.
I'll have steak? I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Oh, God. All right, Super Dave Osborne and Norm Macdonald appearing
Happy
at
birthday,
Houston's.
And Norm, wish Neil a happy birthday if he has one, okay?
Wait.
Kenny G has a Christmas album out this year. Hey, happy birthday, Jesus. Hope you like crap. Well, next Tuesday is Halloween, or as evil old people know it, Razor Apple Day. According to retailers, the most popular Halloween mask this year is O.J. Simpson. And the most popular Halloween greeting is, I'll kill you and that guy who's bringing over your glasses, or treat.
Ghosts, they don't fucking scare me. I mean, I'm not trying to say I'm a big shot, you know? I mean, I am saying that. I am trying to say that. I'm trying to say I'm a big shot. Now, I'm not trying to say I'm no fucking tough guy, but I am. I'm a fucking tough guy. I'll fucking fight. No. But I'm saying I'm not afraid of ghosts. And I'll tell you why. First of all, they're invisible and shit, and when you, let's say they go to punch you, right? Their fucking hand goes right through your body. So I'm not scared of that fucker. Like, the guy that scares me is the guy that when he punches you and then his hand doesn't fucking disadvantage. It hits you. That fucker, I don't like him. The ghost, I like. And then, like, you know, one time I went to a hotel and they had a fucking ghost. Was there? Is it a ghost? Was there? And you think you wouldn't put that on the front of the hotel? Some people might not show up, not wanting to be haunted by a ghost. But anyways, people would show up at this hotel, and I had to fucking stay there. And anyways, it said there was this woman that was a fucking ghost, and her name was the woman in the blue dress, you know, and she haunted the halls, evidently. Anyways, I thought it was a reckless nickname, first of all. I would have called her the Ghost. I think that was her defining quality, nothing. I've seen blue dresses before, nothing terrifying about them. But, anyways. So the ghost shows up, and what is the ghost really? All they can do is fucking startle you. You're like, ah, what the fuck? Oh, here it goes, you know. What are you going to do, hang around all the time? They're like, ah, you're like, yeah, okay. Because at first you'd be startled, but by, 6 months, you're like, ah, yeah, you scared me that again. I was scared again. They're like, ah, you're like, yeah. Why are you still here? I forgot. And they're whiny, those fucking ghosts, aren't they? Jesus, goddamn. They're always like, I've got to stay here. And you're like, why? And they're like, because unfinished business. I must come to peace with it. And then you're like, what about me, you fucker? I got the same problems as you, except you can walk through the fucking walls. I'd much rather be you, a ghost. Anyway. And of course, the most frightening is the Count Dracula, that fucker, the vampire. No, the vampire does not. The vampire is the oddest one to me because they go, listen, the fucking vampire is around today. I heard he was around. So we gotta get shit, and garlic and all this shit and everything, and silver bullets, and then we get a 2x6 and hew it, so we get the proper. And then we get a fucking wooden mallet. We got, as the beast descends upon us, we must strike him, in the center of his chest and explode his heart and kill this ancient plague, Because if we don't, if we make one small mistake, he'll bite our necks, and then we'll be immortal. What? What was that last part? What? I didn't hear the last part. And they bite your neck and you get to be a cool vampire forever. Unless someone tricks you and makes you a pile of dust, which would also be a cool way to go out. But you get to be a vampire and then you're sexy. So vampires are now sexy, which is cool, you know. Women love vampires. You probably love vampires, right? I don't know what it is, but man, women love vampires like babies love stray dogs. You know, they touch them somewhere deep within their soul. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what it is. I'm no doctor. Sometimes I claim to be a doctor, but it's all in good fun. Enjoy performing experiments on the human body sometimes, and if you like that sort of thing, you have to pretend to be a doctor. Pretty well the only way they'll let you do it. I have the suit at home. Anyway.
In my opinion, if we're going to fight the war on terror, a good place to start would be our country's haunted houses.
When I was a kid, I went to the haunted house at the state fair, and my dad did not want to pay the 50 cents to get in to the haunted house. And it was like this trailer with ghosts and stuff. And my dad goes, "That's no goddamn haunted house." So I'm like, "Sure it is." He goes, "No, it's not. It's got wheels on it. It drives around. The ghosts will come right out." It was like ruined it for me. But,
So, unless you've been living under a rock, Star Wars. I do not understand why people stand in line for days and days and days. They can't see the movie in 2 weeks. I mean, they don't have jobs. In any event, so I went to see Star Wars. I have never seen any of the Star Wars, and I felt terrible about it until I learned that
I never saw it. Never saw the first one.
I never saw any of them.
No.
You never saw anything? You never wanted to see Star Wars?
No, I never liked them. I don't like those science fiction because my dad always hated them. And you know how you try to be what your dad, you try to be, you know what I mean? And I remember when I was a kid, I watched that Twilight Zone. Remember that show?
Yeah.
And oh my God, my dad hated it because it was too fantastical, and he thought I should be doing the chores. And I remember one time, me and my brother were watching Star Wars.
My son was. Have you ever seen Star Wars?
That's Norm.
We only have 2 more minutes.
I was just giving you a little backstory. But me and my brother were watching the Twilight Zone, and then my dad walked by, and we were watching, and we were all excited about this Twilight Zone. And then my dad walked by, and he looked at like the screen, and he said, "I suppose this one's a goddamn ghost."
Oh, well, that was funny. Okay. Anyway, we're going to give our quick review.
Didn't you once perform at a hospital for the insane?
Yeah.
What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
Fanta Orange.
Of course you
fantastic.
are. Of course you are.
Fanta Orange is.
Yeah.
You like the Fanta Grape too, right? I'm assuming.
I have a grape Fanta for when my friends have
Oh, don't do that, Norm.
What?
Norm.
I always have it here. But no, I did do a hospital. It was supposed to be a regular hospital. And when I got there, there was barbed wire and everything, and it was a hospital for the criminally insane. And they had an incredible, room, and they said the Gatlin brothers were here last week. And I was like, what? Like, I wasn't even sure they deserved a show. And anyways, I went on. I got heckled before I said anything. As I was walking towards the stage, a guy yells out, "Nice shoes." Now, these guys are not politically correct.
No, right.
These are criminally insane people. You have to understand.
Right.
And then the guy beside him goes, "Jerome's right. Them some shoes.
Norm. Okay. I don't. Well, now what do we do?
Every dumb button at ESPN was just
okay. Look at you guys with your. Is he still there? Or did we lose him? Once we dump him twice, do we lose him, or do we still have him there?
Give me a second.
Okay.
Let's have a talk with Norm.
All right. Well, we'll do. All right. We'll come back and do celebrity prognostication with Norm Macdonald.
We think.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugats on ESPN Radio.
Our thanks to Hank Azaria for joining us earlier. Norm Macdonald needs to make his NFL picks for this week, so he rejoins us here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line.
We like awkward around here. He's better at awkward and uncomfortable than we are. Mike Ryan's objection to the continuing of this segment has been duly noted.
I would say Norm's the best ever at awkward and uncomfortable.
He's awkward and uncomfortable, yes. And he's got a new book out based on a true story. That's the title of the book. It's available September 20th. Our executive producer, I am responsible for whatever it is that happens next because Norm was dangerous last segment. So, Norm, can I ask you to behave yourself within the context of Norm Macdonald behaving himself while we do these celebrity predictions, please?
Oh, yes, of course. Everything I said had a quotation mark around it. It was someone else saying it.
I understand. That's right. You did say that. There was somebody else saying that. And the story, you didn't get to the end of the story, right? So you were being heckled. Don't use the words again. But you were being heckled.
I'll tell you, the end of the story was a criminally insane guy made his way to the stage and started biting my leg. and then that worked really good.
Okay, so that's
none of my jokes were working. I remember one joke. I go, "How many of you guys have an answering machine?" And this guy goes, "None of us." And then the guard goes, "Tuesday's the day for any complaints, Kowalski, and you know it." I'm like, "Oh." He goes, "Pipe down, let the man speak." I'm like, "This isn't going good."
I love a set ending with you being bitten. Will you guys quit being uncomfortable in there? Come on, it's Norm Macdonald.
I prefer the Indian casinos. That's what I like, because I don't want to give my money. If I'm going to lose money, and I'm going to lose money, I don't want to do it in Las Vegas to a bunch of corporate businessmen. I would rather go to an Indian casino and lose it to the Native Americans, on account of my forefathers systematically murdered them years ago, which, looking back on it, way out of line. Way out of line. Anyways, I look at it as a form of reparations, and I tell you, I've done my part, goddammit. Probably done your part, too. Anyways, I love casino.
Melissa McCarthy is Norm Macdonald.
Thank you. Thank you, but I am sorry I cannot, in good conscience, accept this award on behalf of Melissa McCarthy. I instead have chosen to give my time to a friend who has something very important to say.
My name is Johnny Two Feathers. While you enjoy tonight's show, I want you to think about something. The spot where you're sitting, every square foot of ground in this country was stolen from my ancestors. And after you stole it, you murdered them. So you'll forgive us if we do not laugh along. There is nothing funny about the extermination of a people. The theater stinks of blood. That's all I have to say. Oh.
Johnny Two Feathers, everybody. Johnny Two Feathers. Give him a wave, Johnny. Johnny, you don't want to wave? All right. Well, Johnny Two Feathers, everybody.
Probably just like masturbating in a dark room.
Angry over the Atlanta Braves and Cleveland Indians' use of Indian caricatures as logos, Native Americans showed up at the World Series tonight, They chanted for hours to protest Indian stereotypes, though it didn't help their cause any when it started to rain. Native Americans in upstate New York are trying to block plans to build a Kmart on the site of a Mohican burial ground. In addition, they were upset to learn that sales at this particular Kmart will be announced, "Attention Kmart Savages." In Michigan, State Historical Commission officials say they will not interfere with the building of a new major sports stadium, even if construction unearths historical artifacts. However, state Indian Affairs officials say that if relics from a Native American tribe are found, they would like to have the land set aside and designated as a sacred tribal burial ground / giant casino. In Wisconsin, students at Menominee High School are desperately fighting efforts by the politically correct to change their team nickname the Indians. Already, opponents of the name have rejected the students' first compromise, the Drunken Indians. They feel that's almost worse in a way, you know? In Bridgeport, Connecticut, the Staticoti Indian tribe is seeking recognition by the Bureau of Indian Affairs in order to open either a manufacturing company or a casino. I wonder which one they'll choose. Manufacturing company or the casino. In Norwich, Connecticut, a local museum has made a long overdue effort at racial reconciliation by returning 21 ancient tribal artifacts to the Mohegan Indians. But as for everything else in the country, we'll be keeping that. Yeah. It's good news, really. We don't have to give any of it back.
It's like the difference between the Cleveland Indians and the Washington Redskins. I can see where Redskin might upset somebody just a little. I don't think you're ever going to get it changed, but at least it is a bit denigrating. But Indians, isn't that? I never understand that.
Oh, you don't understand that?
No. What?
Well, here's the thing, man.
Or Braves.
I have no formal education,
mm-hmm.
and as a matter of fact, I don't have any informal education. It's not like I'm hanging out with professors on the weekend, right?
Yes.
But this is the way I understand it. Old Chris Columbus,
mm-hmm.
he sailed over here,
right.
and then he got here, and he thought it was India.
Jesus, what a dolt. And that's the source of us all.
Yeah, so he goes, hey, man, look at all those Indians.
All right. Oh, that's it.
And then one of his buddies goes, hey, man, we took a wrong turn at the middle of the Pacific Ocean. This is America. and then he goes, hey, you Indians better get the hell out of here. You're not even in the right country.
Well, once you're about to take a country from somebody, you cannot refer to them as Native Americans. It only makes your task harder. They will fight harder because you've already told them you assume that it is their property. But my feeling is at some point there were an ice people, a horde of almost Piltdown men-like creatures who the Indians or whatever, the Native Americans came in and took this from. Isn't that the way of the world, Norm? That eventually everybody takes something.
What's a Piltdown, man? You talking about the old days?
I'm sorry to throw you off the scent of the conversation. I'm talking about in Paleolithic times. I assume that the Native Americans were not native here either, but came down and took this from somebody else. That's just the way of the world.
Yeah, everybody takes everything. Listen, Mother Nature is a brutal bitch.
Mm-hmm.
A red-clawed,
paint the picture.
Machine that eats and
shrieking harridan.
Yeah.
Little one, you've been away so long, and I need you now more than forever.
So, Jenny, what month was your issue?
Quoting Churchill.
May of 08. Who was on the cover? Do you remember?
It was a Russian girl.
Uh-oh.
And my nickname's Genocide, so I think that was kind of funny.
What?
What do you mean?
Is Genocide giving her comedy fucking advice?
Why is that? It's funny because there was a genocide.
In Russia?
Only about 70 years ago.
Against the Russian people.
Who still lives?
But me. That's not a
You
genocide.
first.
Huh?
Czech Republic. No, it was
the
it wasn't a complete genocide.
What do you mean?
No, it was.
Well, Stalin was a mass murderer.
Only Jewish people seem to get really offended by my nickname.
There are fives in a case.
Dave's getting bored.
Right,
Well-
because they're the only ones that live.
Well, the only
through
true genocide was the. Well, I don't want to say.
Another one this way, Sam.
That was a true genocide.
Wow. What?
The American Indians was a true genocide.
No, that was for land.
No, that was justified.
That was for land. We were taking their property.
No,
It doesn't matter. What does it matter what the motive
no,
is?
the genocide.
Yeah, the motive
against
is
the
to
Indians
just
was
hatred of a race to exterminate them
was
without a
just- it was
political or economic
justifiable
agenda.
What we did with the Indians.
Well, it's not
No,
justifiable.
well, who's saying it's justified?
I said, well, let's
Just we got to bury that.
I'm just wondering how it's justified.
one counterpoint.
You've never heard the legal term justifiable genocide? Hitler was out of his mind at the time. Clearly insane. Norm Macdonald Live premiered over 2 years ago. One thing has remained consistent throughout. Jokes. So we're going to do some jokes with, this is a rather troublesome thing I've got to address. This was in Adam Eagle's dressing room. If you can read it, it says, ISIS hunting permit.
It's not mine. I don't know. It's not mine.
Whether or not it's yours, you were defending it earlier when we talked about it just now. I said, what does this mean even? ISIS hunting permit. Everyone would want to kill ISIS. And then you said, no, I wouldn't want to kill ISIS.
I don't. No, I think you're.
What did you say just now?
No, I'm saying that. First of all, it doesn't make sense.
But when I said ISIS hunting permit, I said, wait, does that mean ISIS hunting permit? Does that mean that this is supposed to be taken as some sort of redneck thing?
Yeah, it seems like it would be on like
Why
a
would this
redneck-
be a redneck thing?
Well, it just seems typical of something you'd see on the back of a pickup
Right,
truck.
but I said
You know?
after that, I said, but no, everyone would want to kill ISIS. And then what did you say?
I think that it's just, the thing is that somebody would use that as permission to kill Muslims, just because they couldn't differentiate between who is ISIS and
Why
who
would
is,
they not say Muslim hunting permit?
well, because they sort of look at all Muslims as being ISIS, you know? That's the problem when people want to deport all the Muslims from America. They think that they're all part of ISIS, when in truth they're not. They're not
Correct.
at all.
Okay. Yes.
You know, it's like saying somebody like Timothy McVeigh is all Christians.
Yeah, I've read some
that's
figures about
very
80% of a lot of
very
these
well,
nations don't agree with it. They're against ISIS.
Well spoken.
The point, I don't know where you found it. It's not from my dressing room. I don't have a dressing room.
Well, who
It's not
cares
from
about a
my
dressing
car.
room? We're talking about it. Did you hear what?
Yes, I agree with everything Margaret just said. 1,000%.
Yes, I mean I don't disagree. I think ISIS is terrible.
Absolutely.
And everybody here listed, Boko Haram in particular, I have a lot of rage towards. However, somebody would take this in the wrong way. I mean, somebody would look at this and think of it as permission to kill all Muslims, which is sort of a sentiment that's going around in conservative circles, which is not the right way to look at Muslim America.
Yeah, it's like after 9/11, people were shooting Sikhs, people from India who had nothing to
do.
Yeah,
and it's just this unawareness of
it's ignorance.
People who are different from them, not even different in
Well, I
America.
can't say my friend's name, but he said his biggest fear is that ISIS or some terrorist group like that would get a hold of a dirty bomb and explode it over a major city within the United States and kill tens of millions of people. Because then the blowback against innocent Muslims would be absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that's rude.
That's true.
All right, let's do some jokes.
That went well.
These broken pieces I hold in my hands don't have a chance to mend at all. Before they get thrown into chaos again, I try to pretend I'm whole enough. I'm standing this world so unsteady.
Josh.
Now, this is a great joke. This is, I think, just a classic joke. This may have been written by, who's this new boy that I've taken quite an unhealthy interest with?
Black.
Huh?
Scott Black.
Scott Black. People Magazine, Johnny Depp, sexiest man alive, huh? Hey, listen, I don't care what you think of this guy. He's a hunk. You know that. I know that.
Yeah, sure. We can say that.
Let's not kid ourselves. Now, apparently he's taking advantage of this Do I need this anymore?
No, you've established it's real. People know about it.
Yeah. So he's a... Look at that guy, man. Good Lord, I'd like to... Whatever. But I'll tell you this about the new movie he's doing, Pirates of the Caribbean 3, he'll be doing full frontal nudity.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's rated R!
Oh my God! What the hell was that?
Is it really my fault? 'Cause you try to hit me with your pity till I can't trust, but I still push on. Got me changing my ways, trying to fix it.
Here's the problem with taking pictures. Yeah. Photographers are largely flamboyantly gay.
Right.
And so then when they take a good look for them is a flamboyantly gay look.
Right.
So when they take your picture, you know, they want you to look flamboyantly gay, and then you're like, can I look a little less flamboyantly gay? And they're like, no, this is good. I'm like, I'm wearing a dress.
Well, again, it's tonight and tomorrow night. The Comedy Works in Larimer Square. Thanks so much for toughing
Thanks,
it out
man.
without coffee. It's
This
great to
was
meet
fun.
you.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Norm. All right, on over.
Excellent suit.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
just
like that one.
brand new. Oh my. Let's get back over to Angie and Chris, please.
Wait a minute. Norm, what is wrong, Norm, with flamboyantly gay?
Yeah.
I ask you.
I ask you, Norm.
Hit a little close to home this morning, didn't it?
Did you see this outfit? Did you see this thing?
This is what you should have worn for the headshot, Norm. Come on. Panache.
It is cool.
Huh? Come on.
You wore that between what he's wearing now and ending up in the dress. That was halfway.
It is cool.
Norm could have worn this.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Hey, Johnny Weir called. He wants his outfit back.
Oh, hey now. He's talking to you, too, not me.
I don't know who he's talking
I don't
to.
know. Maybe he's talking to me. Because Johnny Weir looked fabulous in this.
Look good in either one of these outfits.
Yes, he-
Did you meet him backstage?
No, I haven't. I met Randy Travis, and
Yeah.
I'm a huge country music fan, and George Jones is my favorite, so this is a big night for me.
Do you like the new country or you like the old
No, the new is gay. Well, I'm not gay, so I don't know much about Broadway musicals. And I've been told I can't ask you a question, so I don't know what I'm supposed to do here.
It's more than we really wanted to know. And you know, you kind of
Oh, my
surprised me
God.
because you did MTV Beach House recently, and you know, there's a certain kind of person you expect to show up on the MTV Beach House, and I hear, we'll be right back with MTV Beach House, our special guest, Norm Macdonald. I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
It's this.
What was that?
It's this show on MTV, right?
I know.
And it's at a beach.
It's at
you
a
know?
beach.
And they don't script anything. Like, you know, they do like for anyway. So the dude, the host, was like, "Hey Norm, do you mind wearing a pair of trunks? You know, bathing trunks?" And I go, "No, I don't want to wear that. You know, because I'm like, my body's like all weird looking and everything." And everybody else is super hot ladies and super hot men. You know, I don't, you know, whatever.
Whatever you. Wow.
So,
got an issue about that. All right, go ahead.
So I'm on the show, right? So they're saying, "Hey, come on, seriously, put on the trunks." I'm like, "No, man, I don't want to." So then they think this will be funny. They go, "Hey, we're going to show you a fashion show. Some dudes will come out, you know, and show you. You see what you think." I go, "What?" So all of a sudden, these 3 dudes come out, right, dancing around in their thongs and shorts and everything.
They're wearing thongs or shorts? Which one?
Bathing trunks, but some of them are like thongs where you can see their dirty arses. So, so I'm like watching it, you know, and I'm like, oh,
like
man.
Chaucer. Yeah, go ahead.
So I'm like, oh. I guess it is.
Okay, go
Old
ahead.
English. So I said, you know, oh, yeah, no, I'm pretending to go, oh, yeah, that's funny, right? And
you do a lot of that at MTV, yeah.
So then the guy, the host, he goes to this one guy who was very, very, very gay. He goes,
what? How do you know that?
no, I mean,
you had a sign?
Yeah, he looked very, very gay. He says to this dude, he says, hey, I'll give you $20 if you lap dance on Norm. You know what I mean?
Right.
All of a sudden, this dude like, hey, $20. I guess he didn't have much money. Starts running towards me, right? So I look up. Here's this nude, almost nude dude running towards me, right? So I think in my head, okay, man, pretty soon the guy's going to be writhing around on my lap with his ass, you know? And I don't want that on TV, you know, forever.
No, it's okay to talk about it, but you don't want to see it.
Right. They videotape that, and it's there forever. So, meanwhile, what can I do? You know, you can't hit a guy because it looks bad. You know what I mean? You know? Even though, of course, a woman could hit a naked guy running at him.
Sure, that's
fine.
Okay.
But a man can't hit him.
Yeah.
So I have to think fast. It's only a second. So I bolt. I take off, right?
You started running, too?
Yeah, running down the beach.
The guy catch you or no?
Yeah, and then I had to come back on. They're like, oh, Mr. Homophobic. I won't let a guy grind his ass into you.
Where do you live here, of course, in the city, because you're doing the show.
I live in New York City.
Yeah. This isn't a police interrogation. Are you sure? Where about? Where in the city do you live, approximately, not specifically? But...
I live at 56 between 8th and Broadway.
Okay, and what's your phone number? Just give me 7 digits. All right. What? Your neighbors nice people? The people that live around you?
Great people. Every day I meet somebody new. You know, this city's great because of the neighborly people. You know. I don't know. But I did meet one neighbor. Interesting story. You know, that this guy. He just moved in, you know, next door to me. So I'm always one to meet the neighbors.
You like to chat with the neighbors,
yeah, because, you know, so I went over to the guy, I knocked on the door next door to where I live, and I say to the guy, I said, hey, I'm your new neighbor, you know, and I said, good to see you, you know, nice to run into you, you know, welcome to the neighborhood, you know. And so the guy, I said, what do you do for a living there, sir? You know, if you don't mind me asking. You know, what do you do for a living? I'm a nightclub comic, I tell the guy. So he says to me, he says, I work down at the University of Science there. He says, that's
a good school, by the way.
I can't remember the exact place.
Sure.
But he says, I'm a professor of logic.
Oh.
So he says to the guy, he says, logic. Now, what the hell is that? I never heard tell of that. He says, oh, well, he says it's a kind of a pattern of syllogistic. Well, he says it's hard to explain. He says, why don't I give you an example? So I said, fair enough. Why don't you do that? So the guy says, well, he says, let me ask you a question. He says, do you own a doghouse? So I go, yes, I do. He says, well, then that means you probably have a dog. I said, yes. He says, well, that means you're likely you have a family if you have a dog. I said, yes, I do. He said, well, then that means you got kids, you're married. I said, yes, I am. He says, well, then you're a heterosexual man. I said, yes, sir, I am. He says, well, you see, that's logic there. I asked if simply from finding out you had a doghouse, I made this series of inferences, and I found that you're a heterosexual man simply from the fact that you had a doghouse. Well, I said, good God, isn't that something? Okay. So I said, well, I won't waste any more of your time there, neighbor. And I said, I'll see you later.
See you around. Okay.
So I said, come by one day and have a chicken with me. So anyways, I left. So I left. So I go to get a bus, you know? to the bus stop. And I walked down to the bus stop, and I'm still thinking about this thing that happened to me, you know. And I'm standing at the bus, and no bus coming at all, you know, and 5 or 6 of us standing around, and one guy lights up a cigarette there, and he goes, as soon as you light up a cigarette, the bus comes. And he smokes the whole damn cigarette, no bus comes.
Right.
So I said to the guy, well, that theory really worked, huh?
Yeah.
And the guy goes, well, sometimes it works. Anyways, the guy goes, what's new with you? I go, well, I had an interesting thing happen to me today. I said, I met my neighbor. And he goes, oh, yeah? I go, he had a hell of an interesting job. I said, he's a professor of logic down at the University of
Science.
And so the guy says, is that so? He says, professor of logic. He goes, what the hell is that, logic? I said, well, it's a series of Scylla something or other.
Right.
I said, I can't remember exactly, but I said, I'll give you an example if you want to hear an example. So the guy goes, all right, fair enough. So I said, let me ask you this. I said, let me ask you a question. Do you own a doghouse? And the guy goes, no, I don't own a doghouse. So the guy says, oh, yeah, you're one of them gays.
And it worked, right? What great stuff you can learn at that University of Science there.
And then the guy, get this. Get this.
There's more.
This gay guy invites me to have a chicken at his place.
That's some kind of euphemism. Watch out.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just going to be honest. There are so many better things to do than exercise. We have finite time on this earth. The exercise is such a conspiracy. They go, let's say you spend an hour on a treadmill every day.
So you're working out now and stuff, right?
Yeah, how about you?
I worked out a couple times. I liked it when I was young. I didn't have, you didn't have to work out. You were just in good shape.
Yeah.
And I was in my best shape back then. I think I was in my, seriously, when I was like, when I was 1. That's when I
reached your peak when you were 1.
My God, I look great. I mean, you wouldn't know me now. You see me back then. I was young and fresh.
I can imagine. I can imagine.
Even for my age, people would come up to me and go, what, are you 0? But I go to this doctor, and he gives me, they always give me these crazy things. And so he said, I want to, test out your body fat.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm a really skinny guy.
Yeah.
My whole life I've been skinny. I've been self-conscious about it, conscious.
Right.
And I always had problems with those words. I always thought conscience.
I know.
Was
It's fine. Don't worry about it. This is not an elevator with Shriners, so just relax.
So the guy, I said, I don't need no body fat thing, man. I'm a really skinny guy. So he puts these calipers on me, and he tests me out. Comes back, turns out I'm fat as well as skinny.
Seems unlikely, doesn't it?
He explained it to me. I'm skinny, but also fat. I'm bones and then fat around the bones. I have a horrible body. So the guy tells me, you got to get to one of them gyms.
Oh, start working out a little bit. Yeah.
So I go to the gym, and holy Lord, have you ever been to one of these?
No, I don't.
They're crazy. Yeah. You got to they got the weights, Yeah. That's the big thing.
The big
weights.
Weight machines, sure.
So you got to lift the weight. It's really heavy, and then you got to put it down. Then afterwards, lift it again right away. And it's endless. It's hundreds of lifting. And then afterwards, you're just sore and you're not big at all. And I don't want to be big. I have no use for being big. Yeah. I'm just a guy. I watch some TV. I eat a fish sandwich. I don't got to be big. I don't need abs. What am I going to do with abs? I could show them to my friends. I go, hey, look on my belly. What I got here? Some abs. What are you looking at?
Well, nothing. I'm just, but maybe if you worked out a little bit, perhaps Shriners would leave you alone. That wouldn't be a problem at all. It's tough.
New songs on the radio sounding fake. Prince and Genesis were better anyway. Am I just being too real?
I don't work out. I'm a weak man. You know that, Dennis.
Well, listen, you and I were on the Mount Olympus of weakness.
And not just physically.
Oh, no, in every way.
In every single way. So I told the guy that, and he said he couldn't do anything except for the physical part. But I don't know if he was the best trainer anyway. He was smoking a butt the whole time.
No, that's not good.
That's just a joke. He was a big guy. And but I told him, I said, look, I don't want be big like you. I don't want veins. I have no use for that in my arms, or abs. I don't want abs. I don't even know quite what they are. All I know is they were invented around the 80s. And I don't even know what you do when you get them. You know what I mean? Because you got to wear a shirt. You just go to work and go, hey, you want to see these things on my belly? Everybody's like, no. But so I told the guy, I said, I'm here for one reason and one reason only. I want to have one hot ass.
Guess we're not in LA. It's not as scary.
Oh.
Well, I'm saying LA is.
Dang. You can feel it. You can feel it.
Do we race downstairs?
No. You just want to go downstairs.
Yeah, I do too. Fuck it.
I want to go downstairs.
No, you don't want to be in an elevator.
I was say I don't want to take the elevator or go down 64 flights.
It'll be done.
5 years.
You'll be like.
It's 4th of July and it's in Trump Tower. I don't understand.
Let's just talk about this.
What's the most exciting thing that has happened to you this year?
The most exciting thing?
Mm-hmm. Do you get excited?
No, I don't remember anything exciting happening to me. I mean, that earthquake was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The fault line.
Reminded you of that that Giants World Series.
That's right.
Another endless day, nobody's gonna change. You won't ever leave. On my mind again, I'm still not tired of it. Can make you want me. And I might act okay, say things will stay the same. Say I'm all I need.
All right, he is the anchor of Saturday Night Live's Weekend Update. He also does a mean Bob Dole. Is there any other kind? Norm Macdonald. Hey, buddy. Thank you for coming. He's a rock and roller who sold over 45 million records. He could kick Slim Whitman's ass. Our very own favorite bat out of hell, Meatloaf, is right over here. How are you? Welcome to California.
Thank you. Hi, kids.
All right. Well,
all right.
Now, you're a musician. Did you watch the American Music Awards last night?
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, you should have. It was on this network. Well, I watched that last night, and I watched the Super Bowl, of course, like every other red-blooded American the day before. And I was thinking maybe I'd get an acclamation from this panel right to start off. Could we have people in show business and sports stop thanking God for what they do? God could give a rat's ass if you won an award or won a game. Like God cares about winning.
No, wait a second.
That's not what God's about, right?
The Cowboys are playing.
Well, I thought God was very, God is fair. I would say if you're God, right, I would say one of your qualities would be fairness, right?
Above all others.
Yeah. And I thought this was a very fair Super Bowl because Green Bay won by exactly 14 points. They covered the spread, in other words, right?
Exactly.
Nobody won, nobody lost.
Well, what does that have to do with God?
I don't know.
But you know what I mean? Everybody gets up there, and the first thing they say is, thank God, I want to thank God for you. But I don't see that God is involved. I think it's their hubris to even say such a thing.
I think it's wonderful that they have faith in God, and they look to Him for everything to do.
I agree with you, Linda.
Oh,
By that,
In fact, I thank God that I'm here tonight with you, Bill.
but by the same
Don't you think
by
so?
the-
I think so. Hallelujah, we're here tonight. Hallelujah.
He hopped up on goofball. I think.
But by the same token, the Patriots should lose their faith in God now.
Exactly.
They're being tested. They're
I
being
think that
tested.
God has partisan. I mean, it's
I don't think God watched the American Music Awards.
exactly. I mean, he didn't get to where he is by giving a damn about. The other thing is, how about this showboating that they all do? That these players, they celebrate the most inconsequential accomplishments. A guy puts on his chin strap and he's running around and routine tackles and plays. Now, my question here is also the dancing, you know. Now, let's be honest. In that Super Bowl, the only white guy dancing was Fred Astaire.
With a broom.
Right.
He's the only one not getting paid for dancing. though.
Well, I mean,
Hey,
the
it's
white guys
professional
can't
sport.
dance. They probably couldn't do
No.
that. I mean, that
They do
shuffle that...
chickens and gooses and things like that.
The white guys?
Yeah, Tony Saraguso, who plays for the Indianapolis Colts, he does the goose. That's where he gets his name. Somebody from Indianapolis.
But do you think that's more of a black thing? I mean, is it a black thing
They
that
do
we
it
don't...
better.
What?
They do
No,
it
they're just better dancers.
Yeah, they're better. And I think, you know
Goose
what?
really wants to dance. Go ahead.
What?
I think it's appropriate. I like it. It's a celebration. They're happy. They're having a good time. They're number one. They're, you know, they're
I mean,
good.
I think you can go too far. I think, you know, when you dance in the end zone, that's fine. When you bump heads with others. But, you know, sometimes, you know, I heard about one guy killed his wife and a waiter. You know what I mean?
You're referring to O.J. Simpson.
I'm not good with names. I just heard the story.
And there is another big sports story in the news. It was last week, a football player named Walt Sweeney. Do you remember him playing? You're a big fan. No? I don't either. But
Yeah,
you know? Okay, who did he play for? The Chargers, I think? All right. Okay. Anyway, he played 20 years ago, and he sued the NFL, and he won. The judge awarded him a couple of $1 million, and he said when he played, they made him take amphetamines and painkillers so he could get out there, and they encouraged drinking to be one of the boys, and now he's a drug addict from this stuff. That's what he said. He said his life has stood still for 20 years, and he's got the big mutton chop sideburns to prove it. And he's going to get money for this, and somebody else is going to take responsibility. Anybody
Yeah.
against
I always have something to say, Bill. No, am I against it? No, I'm not against it.
Really?
No.
You're
Because
not against what?
I'm not against the court awarding him $2 million. Because if you played football in that era, you ever heard anybody say, and everybody here has said it, I don't know what I would do if I wasn't doing what I'm doing. And
Yes,
it holds
I've heard
really
that.
true for professional football players. And in that era, he wasn't making that much money compared to what they do now. Steve Young, how much does Steve Young make a year?
Oh, lots.
A lot. Well, he took 20 cortisone shots at halftime in the Philadelphia game.
Who did?
Steve Young.
20 cortisone.
20 cortisone shots in his ribs.
Wow. His ribs must have been really high.
Yeah. So, this guy...
But that's his choice.
I understand that. I understand that, but he wanted to play, right?
But in 20 years, he could say, you guys got me hooked. But it was his choice to play. And isn't it the same with this guy, Walt Sweeney?
but he's being paid to play.
He's being paid, right. He's being...
Right?
I agree.
He's being paid to play. In that era, if you didn't take the drugs, you weren't going to be paid to play
But
anymore.
you just said, I don't know whether you're arguing the meat or the loaf here, because you're...
I think I said the same thing at the same time.
I'm confused.
Are you confused? Did I confuse myself?
You're saying it's a matter of choice.
Exactly.
Bottom
Thank
line.
you.
But it's not really a matter of choice. I agree with
Did
Meatloaf.
some of them turn it down?
That's easy, since like our president, he's on both sides of the issue.
No, I'm not on both
No,
sides.
he's saying that
Thank
you
you,
really
Norm.
have no
Translating.
choice. You have to do this to stay competitive.
Oh,
When
come
I
on.
ran track when I was a kid.
Oh, don't brag.
And when it started, when I ran track, I was good. And then all of a sudden, people started jabbing what they told me was B12 into their ass. And it turned out to be steroids, but I didn't know that.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and then
and they did this to you?
No, they didn't. They didn't jam anything in my ass. But all the guys were jamming B12 in their ass. I don't know. I shouldn't be saying jamming. They were injecting.
This is the peacock syndrome in action right here.
But he would not have played had he not taken the painkillers.
Well, what about...
You see North Dallas 40?
Yes, I did.
That was that was some kind of Hollywood exaggeration, but I think it was close to the truth.
But the implications for the rest of society are tremendous in this. Isn't that true?
I agree. I have to believe there are some that turned down the drugs, that didn't take them.
Yeah, and they don't play.
Well, we don't know. I'd like to hear,
No, they don't, I'm telling you, they don't play.
Well, that should be illegal.
Would you feel differently if it was, say, a college football player 20 years later said, I'm illiterate because I played ball and they kept passing me through? Would you feel differently about it? Is it the drug issue, or is it the idea that somebody just went along?
I think that's a good analogy, but... But first of all, that's college. I mean, you are paying a college to educate you. So if they really, if they tried to and you just didn't do it, that's your personal responsibility.
So it's down to personal responsibility.
I think it is a personal responsibility case. What about the hundreds and hundreds of football players who aren't suing, who did this? Why? How come their lives were able to go?
Some people have more of an addictive personality than others.
And the rest of us should pay for that?
Yeah, I think the guy with the really addictive personality is the one you should give $1.8 million to.
In all walks of life, forget football. Right. Aren't people compromising every day to keep their jobs?
But couldn't Jan Michael Vincent say show business made me what I am today? I mean, right? Show business makes people do terrible things. Like be on this show. All right, well, we're out of time in this area. We'll come back and talk about...
I need your love. You free my mind. I need your love. Yeah, you free my mind.
Military little, because an important ruling came down last week from federal judge Shira Scheindlin, who said that they could now buy at the PX on the base dirty magazine, if you will. Big military support here. Yeah. It's a big military state.
Some deprived military personnel we can see. She also included videos in the ruling saying they were also protected by free speech, although the plots were kind of thin. No, anyway, it was called the act that she overturned was called the Military Honor and Decency Act, which for years had banned the selling of this kind of material because they said in that act that they thought it would encourage sexual harassment. When now some people are saying maybe the opposite is true. A quick session with the pet of the month, and maybe that soldier is...
Yeah. You get sleepy. Don't you get sleepy?
What do you mean?
You don't want to rape somebody when you're sleepy.
Why are you sleepy?
Well, after you watch the porno. Listen, I like...
Norm, you have a strange metabolism.
Maybe it's those B12 shots you got. Right. No, You're in high school. I like porno as much as the next guy, And I probably like it. I probably like it 100 times as much as the next guy. But although I have been watching. This is amazing because porno is my favorite kind of movie to watch, and yet. I've seen some pornos lately that my buddies have shown me. Have you seen these ones with all male casts? Gay pornos, they're called. These things are horrible. And there's thousands of them. They make thousands of them. They have not made one good one. And I'll tell you what the problem with it is. Quite seriously.
Yes, sir.
Quite seriously, the problem with these gay pornos and every one guys having sex with each other. Who the hell wants to see that? You know?
Maybe you're shopping in the wrong section of the store.
It's not for me.
I wonder if they can't have those in the military base then.
But these,
don't ask, don't tell, don't watch.
Right. That's an interesting question. I don't know if this ruling includes gay material on the base. Do you know?
Well, you know, it's really ironic at a time when they're trying to sensitize the soldiers. They're sending them to training on how to treat women with respect, and now they're stocking the PXs with porno magazines. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's a mixed message, wouldn't you say?
Why?
Well, because these magazines degrade women. They do.
And I'll say one thing.
Why don't you just stand up for this segment? You know, like in the...
This is a little warning for people. Playgirl magazine has not got any girls in it.
I give up.
No, please, this hunk is done. But I don't see what you say. But they don't all degrade. You don't think Playboy
Well, I
degrades
don't look
women,
at
do
them.
you?
Obviously, I don't look at
Well,
them.
then how can you speak
I've
with
read
authority
about
if you
it,
don't
and
look
I have a general idea of what's going on.
Have you ever seen? Oh, you?
Yes, I have, but I don't. You know, I don't go out of my way to look for them. No, I don't.
Well, Norm has some material in
Yes,
his,
I'll ask
dressing
Norm
room.
next time. I'll call him and.
He's got
see what
thousands
he
of
thinks.
videos. But they're all male. You might enjoy that.
No.